Hey, there's our beautiful intro track, and we are back.
We're back.
Man, it's felt good.
Back,
I know.
baby.
I've had 67 million DMs of everybody like, where's the podcast? Where's the podcast? Where's the podcast?
Literally, as we're setting up, somebody on the Instagram, hey, when's the next one coming out? I'm jonesing for it.
Right now.
Little do you know.
We are, we're back into it. And this is episode, what are we at now?
Six.
Yeah.
Yes. We are on episode 6, and we've got a very, very, very special guest with us. Today, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, Mad Max, a.k.a. Mexicino guy, right? Mexicino guy is what you go by on the Insta, right?
That's right. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. But yeah, Mexicino guys, kind of just for those that are curious. So I used to run taco trucks, and back in the day, so San Diego style Mexican food trucks. And so I just have like Mexican blood and culture flowing through me. So my all my employees nickname me the Mexicino.
I love it.
That's
So
awesome.
good.
Yeah, just kind of rolled with it from there.
Roll with it and stay with it, right? Like once the nicknames stick, it's
Yeah.
like you can't get away from them.
Dude, absolutely. Welcome, man. It's so good to have you here.
Now,
Thank you so much.
before we get into like, I want to go into your backstory a little bit because we were talking. You talk about send and go hard in your bio that you'd sent over. Let's just jump right into like, how'd you get into Onewheel?
Yeah, it was just a random moment where it was at a outside shopping mall, and I just see this dude ripping it across from me. I'm like, bro, dude, I have got to try that. And he goes, are you sure? Like, I don't really let people ride it. It's I've seen a lot of people fall and stuff. I'm like, don't worry, man. I think I got this. I used to ride skateboards, snowboards, whatever.
I hope that dude has seen you now and been like, wait, I remember that guy.
I got that guy started, man.
Oh my God, he can do
know.
it.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to go back and just like sit around and wait
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah, just wait for him to cruise
Thank
by
him.
again.
Haunt the mall. Or you could go and be him at the mall and then let somebody ride yours, and then they
There
get even
you
more
go.
famous. than
Yeah,
you.
there you go.
I'd be like, dude, you were absolutely right. I'm falling even more now these days.
And I've never been having a better time.
Yeah. Never been happier.
Your prophet came true. But anyway, so I wrote it, and I pretty much like got the hang of it in the first few minutes, and he was pleasantly surprised. And then from there, I was sold. Pre-ordered the pint.
Okay.
Went through the whole ordeal with all the pushback delays, and then finally got that. So
you
wrote
started out with
that
a pint.
for.
Started
was
out,
that?
Started out with a pint then.
Yep.
Did you ride
started
it?
with the pint,
Now
which
we
I am
know.
so grateful for, because it just like I rode that for 6-8 months before I got my first XR, and it just really forces you to like push through that pushback.
Yeah.
Right. My left quad got significantly bigger than my right one.
This homie's got
But-
uneven quads.
Yeah, so I had to do like uneven squats, to make up for it. It was bad. But yeah, it just I'm grateful for it because it just forced me to keep up on group rides. I learned to ride it at like 22 miles an hour, which is not a good idea.
Not on a pint,
But,
no.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, you could. I mean, people go up to like I think 25, 26, sometimes 30 miles an hour. Not many survive. But yeah, so going from that to XR was like a very smooth transition. But if it was like the other way around, where you
Yeah.
start with an XR going to a pint, it's not as good of an experience. So
Right.
yeah, love the pint. Very grateful for it. It's actually right here. You guys probably can't see, but
Yeah, I
Oh,
can
I
see it.
see her. She's a beauty.
Oh, right on. Yep, my first one. We'll never forget.
That's-
so
that's
I'll
your
always
first?
Hold dear to my heart.
That's your first one?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
What did you name it?
Mad Max. That was the original.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Does
Yeah,
it
I
still
named the
work?
board first Mad Max, and then that carried over to me.
Excellent.
Nice.
So
Does it
the-
still run?
It's hanging in there.
Nice.
Still runs.
That's awesome.
How many miles?
I think it's only got 800
Okay.
or so, but it's been a very tumultuous 800 miles.
It's probably from riding it at 22 miles an hour. That might be what did it.
Yeah, that a few tumbles here and there, but surprisingly never broke it yet.
Really?
Broke the XRs way more. But then again, I haven't
Yeah.
really been riding it as much. So
Yeah, I mean, it seems like you do some pretty hardcore stuff on your XRs. Did you start on the pint doing all that hardcore stuff, or did you get the XR so that you could do more gnarly tricks?
Yeah, I think I didn't really distinguish that from the early days. It was just, okay, I see a guy ripping on a one wheel. I have a one wheel. Let me try the same thing. And yeah, it was definitely harder looking back. But yeah, just the smaller tires, smaller foot pads. Again, it would just like really forces you to focus on technique.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see too much of a hurdle aside from range, obviously. And then on trails, you couldn't do as big, crazy stunts or drops.
Right.
But everything else was pretty much there. But
What now?
still very grateful for going to the XR and eventually to the Growlers.
Yeah. What the board that you originally rode then, was that a pint, the guy at the mall, or was that an XR?
That was an XR with the Vega, looking back. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I think that's why I really enjoyed the pint even more because of the smaller squirrely tire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're speaking my language, man.
Yeah, I've never rode, or however you say that, on a Growler before, but everybody seems to like them.
Yeah, so the Growler. So you got a when did you well I'll get into this in a minute here. Like you had you had a skateboarding background, right? So like a little bit you were saying you'd like the biggest trick you'd done was a tray over a 5, right?
No, I did a tray and then a heel flip down a 5.
Okay.
So separate tricks.
I got you.
The
Not
line.
tray.
Yeah.
The line.
Tray down a 5 would be insane. But no, a tray flip, I was happy with that. And then heel flip down the 5 stairs. So that was like the highlight of my skateboarding hobby.
Very cool.
I mean, if
But,
that's
yeah.
all the better it's gonna get, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's way farther than I got. If I would have
Yeah.
gotten there, I would have been so very pleased.
Now, how long ago was that?
That was back in the high school days.
Okay, and so then
Yeah,
after a
high
while,
school.
like there was a gap between your skateboarding career and then ultimately getting on a one wheel, or did you ride skateboards all the way up until then?
I pretty much quit skateboarding after high school, college, because it started to get to the point where like handrails were next,
Yeah.
and like I definitely cherished, my balls, so I did not want to go down that direction.
Yeah.
I just saw a bunch of friends and just videos of that, but yeah, so I just quit, started doing more snowboarding,
Yeah.
but was never really like, it's fun. I can go fast and stuff, but tricks never really clicked. And then suddenly, did some surfing too. But then like fast forward to one wheeling, it just everything clicks somehow.
Yeah, it
way
does.
better. Yeah.
The
So,
where
grateful for
where
that.
are you actually? Like you're in Cali, right?
Yes, I am in San Jose, California.
Gotcha. So you and at the point you're seeing a one wheel with the pint, like how many people are riding one wheels out there? Like, would you see them more often than not, or was that like the very first one you'd seen at the mall?
Oh, when I first saw it,
Yeah.
that was like 2.5 years ago. I think that was the second one I saw. The first one was probably 6 months before that when I was running my food trucks at the company event. This guy was just ripping, I think, a V1 in the park and having his friends hop on it, and they were like tumbling, falling all over in the grass. And I was like, definitely looked like a homemade device.
Yeah.
Because I think he put a treaded on it too, a V1. Yeah, that was interesting.
So very still like
Um,
uncommon, unpopular, even out West Coast wise. Like you hadn't seen a whole bunch of them by the time you got into it.
No, definitely not. I think I was so I didn't see anybody riding in public for the first 4 months or so when I got it. And then I was getting a bit lonely. I wanted to, do some group rides or just meet with any other soul out there. So
Right.
I posted there's a Facebook Riders, I believe, or the owners group, one of them. And then a local homie, he reached out and he was like, yo, you should join our group. Yeah, we ride like every Friday. We do some Halloween rides. His name's Mike. And yeah, back then it was like probably about 20 people. And so we would have small group rides of about like 7 people on average.
Okay.
And it was just like the best thing ever. So that was how I started. And then you would start, like, Mike would kind of try new things and go off little drops here and there. So I think that kind of like inspired me to start pushing things more and more.
Yeah.
And then I'll never forget, the first one was the real major send was during Christmas, and downtown they had this ramp, this metal ramp, like with I guess for handicap.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, this is we can totally launch off of this. I was like, oh, I don't know, dude. The biggest thing I've done was a curb drop, and like I think I'm good with that.
That's been said a lot of times in history. Dude, we
Yeah.
could launch off that.
I know, but then like I would never have done it. But then he just sent off of it.
Okay.
I was like, holy shit, you can do big stuff off of this. So that got my mind open. And then I launched off of it, which was like probably a 3-foot drop. But then I had not fangs. I had the Carbon Smith bumper wheels in the front. I was getting into the wheel drags. And then so my first big send, quote unquote, was I was like, wow, so we're sending off of this. Why not wheel drag over this and then to a drop? So I wheel dragged up the ramp at full speed and then like launched off the drop, ate shit, just dirt in my mouth, but eventually got it. And I think that was like the beginning
Okay.
of the sendage.
Got
Yeah,
the
the
wheels turning.
Yeah.
The very first send.
Dude.
There's that moment. Well, it's like the first time you hit like like a major, some type of major feature, or you get your first slide in. There's just that moment where you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
like I could actually do some other things on this too. Like you just unlock this world of possibilities.
And I think it also like takes somebody else too. I think for me, I mean I would eventually get there, but when you watch somebody else do it, you're like, I can do that. He did that. I might as well try it.
Two very different roles, I feel like, in the skater community. Those the people that usually the cameraman that's like, oh, you do this. AJ and Kyle are great at that. AJ's always like, Kyle, go do that, and then Kyle's like, okay, just like go like this, like does it, and of course nails it immediately. But just kind of someone that's like, points out things like, hey, you should try that, and they're okay, sure, why not? Whereas it sometimes doesn't always occur to you to try something until someone else.
I agree. We have a
says
friend,
something.
Kaiser. He comes out once in a while, and he's always like, he doesn't do the crazy stuff. I mean, he's a crazy guy, but he doesn't really. He's usually like, oh, you should do this, like as a joke. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. He's like, don't do that. I'm like, well, now I can't not do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna climb the thing and I'm gonna jump off of it. You shouldn't keep it to yourself if you don't want me to try it.
You had a vision, man. Stick with it.
yeah. And it's not my fault that you're unwilling to participate. It was a great idea. Let's do it.
so.
Or even the age-old question, but why? Why? Fun?
Yeah.
Because you got to get on camera, man. I'm trying to go viral. Like, so you got your pint right. Maybe when you did the fang drags, that's like XR time. I'm gonna assume, right? Or wheel drags.
No,
I should
it's
say.
still on my pint.
Still pint. Okay.
Yeah, I still haven't gotten an XR yet. At
Okay.
that point.
So when did it finally click into you to decide to make the move to XR? Like, what was that moment?
Yeah, I think that was 6 months later. The range just wasn't enough for the group rides, and for the bigger stuff that I was going for. So I think that's when I really started to look into it.
And you didn't
So I
consider
hit
like
up
a battery
Brian.
mod? Like you didn't like your pint enough to be like, oh no, I might get an XR versus just doing like a chai battery or a JW battery.
Yeah, I think back then Chai wasn't around.
Okay.
I think it was the VNR still. You have
Gotcha.
to put the external battery on top of your fender.
Which does not sound like
Would
fun for
just-
tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would just get ripped off in 5 minutes. So that wasn't an option. So yeah, I think the only reasonable, logical thing to do was to go for the XR, and then I found out about Brian, One Stop Board Shop, and he actually sold me his very last XR, and that's how we got in contact. So yeah, fun story. He's just super helpful guy. If you ever work with Brian, he just
I haven't yet,
take
but
his shirt off.
he's gonna come on the show, I believe. Is he the one that runs One Stop Board Shop?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming from Instagram, from our conversations, I'd put out a poll. I said, hey, who would you guys like to see on the show? And a bunch of people responded, and One Stop Board Shop was one of them. So I'm assuming Brian will be the one that will eventually be coming onto the show.
Yep, he's the head honcho.
Cool.
But yeah, he was just super nice. I was asking about should I get 4209, 08, 10, and then he actually called me and we had this hour-long conversation and just broke everything down to me. I'm like, inside I was like, I really appreciate this, but man, this is like, I don't just kind of going over my head. But he convinced me on the 4209 because I was thinking about 4210, and he was like, you must get this. It's like you can do so many upgrades with this. People aren't as happy with 42. I was like, all right, fine, let's do this. So he hooked it up, and then randomly I was just like, hey, what do you think about sponsoring me?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, like, okay, I've seen some of your videos, you know. I was ripping on a pint here and there, nothing like super crazy. But the fact that he sponsored me, he eventually did decide to do that, and just had full faith from just this, you know, middle-aged dude almost ripping on a pint. You know, I was just super grateful that he saw the potential in me. So
Hell yeah.
especially
that's awesome.
back then, I didn't even have an XR.
Okay.
But yeah, that was another memorable moment of when I first started.
So by sponsor, did he like? So did he give you like? So he sponsored your XR? Is that what he did? He gave you the XR, or you still have to buy your board, or what?
Oh no. I wish we can have actual board sponsors.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody does that in terms of like gifting a full board aside from like if you ride for Onewheel.
Yeah.
But I think pretty much the best you can hope for is like a shop offering to help cover repairs.
Gotcha.
So he basically hooked me up on a good deal discount on the board itself, and then he said he would help me fix anything electrically and stuff like that.
Very cool. Yeah, it kind of opens up that mind to be like, all right, so I can send this and not have to worry about XYZ repairs and go a little bit harder.
Yeah, if Brian offered to sponsor boards for me, I think I would put him out of business pretty quickly. Yeah, so nobody would be willing to do that. But anyway, yeah, very grateful for just them offering to repair. Actually, yeah, Wheel Slip's another shop, and he even joked that he needs to charge me a retainer like a lawyer, just to have like unlimited repairs, but charge like $20,000 a month.
Yeah.
So shout out to Sean, thank you very much.
Yeah, how many? So, are you still on your first XR that you have? You've just kept it going, just repaired it, and it's good to go.
No, I think I have 7 XRs now.
Okay, all right. So
one
you
pint.
Yes. All right. Sweet. Now, do you prefer growlers at this point, or is it kind of just situational as far as like kind of which one you're gonna run?
Yeah, I think overall the go-to is gonna be the Growler. It's just whippier. It still has that pint feel, and just more nimble overall when you're doing tricks.
So wait, to correct me if I'm wrong, but a Growler is an XR with the XR motor, but with a pint tire on it.
Let's break down for anyone who's like never, brand new riders out there, maybe someone who's gonna go buy a used XR. Like, what is a Growler? Let's get back to that first.
Yeah, great question. So Growler is something the Float Life came out with, and it's essentially shorter rails by I think 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
So not a big difference, but you really feel it when you're riding. Aside from the rails and the tire, you're gonna have to get a 5.0 size tire, which is typically a pint size tire. Those are the 2 major mods. Everything else is an XR. Foot pads, the motor, controller, BMS. So you're essentially getting a whippier feel on your XR, but you don't get the pint pushback.
Gotcha.
And not as much range anxiety.
It's a chonky pint.
Range anxiety. I like that term. I'm going to use that.
Yeah,
Got
range
one.
anxiety
Range
for sure.
anxiety.
Me every time I ride with you guys.
Yeah.
Taylor's still on a stock pint, so he's back there like we'll be whipping on the trails. So the first thing I did when I got my pint, I was like, no, I'm not sticking with this battery. The dude who I'd bought it from had already like really, really given it shit. So like I still wouldn't even get like full, 7 miles. I get like 5 miles per charge. So I'm like, all right, let's put the core in this thing. Let's get it ready to kind of be like an XR. But then I just see all these guys doing tricks, and I'm like, I need more space on the board to try these like varials and all these slides and stuff. So that's when I finally went and found a Craigslist or a Facebook Marketplace XR.
I still can't decide if I want to like find a Facebook Marketplace XR or just put the cord in, because I love my pint, love that thing to death. It's so much fun to take on trails. I just can't I get like 2 miles.
Yeah.
and that's a huge problem.
Do you still rip your pint?
I do. I will admit there's been like a good probably half a year now that I didn't touch it. But I recently started getting back into it, and then Ori and Mike was actually kind enough to send over some flight fins for me to test out.
there you
So
go.
thank you very much.
Yeah, I
guys.
saw that Nolly 180 Nolly 180 you popped out. That was very clean. That
Thanks,
Nolly
dude.
fin 180. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's so satisfying to be able to smack the nose
Yeah.
and then get that air as well. So you really get that feeling of a skateboard more.
It's just enough pop. It's nice.
It's like
Yes.
doing when you do a nose slide, and then you come out like it's awesome. But with the fins, I'm like popping out like I would on a skateboard, and it feels so awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You were there. I've been working on these things, but it's just like dipping the tail as if you're gonna ollie or whatever out of a nose slide. But with the fins, it's obviously you don't have to do anything
you just
except just
snap
it's
straight out.
It just feels good. Feels
So-
so good.
So we're getting it. We're at XR time. You got we talked about the sponsors, right? That came in. I want to get back into the XR like riding side of things. Like, what would you consider your first? Like, you get your XR in. Like, what was your first like big trick off the XR? Like that big film moment for you, or something you got captured? Like, when did you really start to push it with the XR?
Wow, let me think. It's all been kind of a blur. Probably got a few screws loose in my head now.
Wear your helmet.
I'd say two things probably that stick out is body varial.
Okay.
But I think also I was working on. Okay, I think what it was a curb nudge onto this sidewalk beam in my complex.
Okay.
And then I really wanted to do a line where I did that and then nudged on top of a doorstep of my neighbor. So they had like a step. It would be like a beam or beam this way, and then it would go up to the patio and then down again, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I would nudge up to their doorstep, do a body varial, and then drop down, switch, and then continue the balance line.
Ooh, okay.
And I must have spent like probably 3-4 hours that day just grinding through that. And eventually the neighbor actually came out and said, "Hey, excuse me, can you not do that here? Like, your board is so loud when it hits the concrete. Like, we've been trying to deal with it, but we got to ask you nicely to not do that."
We thought you were going to land it by now, but please.
Yeah. I'm like, you don't get it. I'm in too deep, guys.
We gave you every opportunity to walk away
I
from
know
this one clean.
it was
but-
fair. They gave me a good 3 hours, so I had nothing to say. I walked away. I think I gave them like a few more days, and I went back to
And
try
try
it
again?
And then this time it took me like 30 minutes to finally get it.
Nice.
So I think that was my crowning moment of my first like
That's awesome.
film moment.
They're just
Yes.
staring out the window
Yeah,
like he's got 32 minutes to figure this out.
Yeah. Excuse me, can you please stop celebrating so loudly?
And they're like, wait, that was what he was going for? Like,
Dude, I talk about that all the time. but
Consider
it's
me
like,
underwhelmed.
It's like so awesome when you're
like,
the
"Thank God
rider.
he's not
It's
gonna come
amazing when you're the uninformed, the
right,
watcher. It's like, what is this dude doing?
Yeah.
Watching tricks on a
He's
one wheel.
flailing around.
Yeah,
He's-
what a goofy old man. Like,
Yeah, there certainly is a bit of that. I'm not exactly sure what it is. Well, I think part of because even some early skateboard tricks look a little awkward. They don't look as stylish, and I think it was
totally
kind of people are figuring out the body mechanics of it, and it's not steezy yet. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, we did it.
yeah.
But it doesn't look good.
Like
I
the
feel
style
like
comes later. Like the,
Yeah.
like the you perform the action or the function, and then you're like, I did it, and then somebody else makes it look really good, and you're like, well, I did it first.
yeah. What was the longest battle do you think you ever had for a trick? I know you battled some of the ones in the new Float Life video, the new normal. I know you had some battles on that one for sure. But was there one that was like, I mean, yeah, that trash one, that seems like that could have been a battle. Maybe not. Maybe you just knock that one out of the park like immediately. I know you had a couple of bails, but
I think every other trick that I try is a battle.
Yeah, I love that though. No, that's what I love about your style. Is like, no, you're gonna get this trick. You're after it.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I think a few notable ones. Well, the trash one, I was getting ready for a battle. Like, I actually went there to scout it out, looked at it, and then I was with Miri, my girlfriend, and I'm like, babe, check this out. Isn't this, like, what if I dropped into this hole and then nudged out? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Such
Yeah.
a good idea.
Yeah, her standard reaction these days when I have an idea is just,
I will hold the camera for you. Fine.
yeah,
Someone needs
just
to
hold the
document,
camera, babe. So yeah, I had to pump myself up for like 2 weeks because I didn't want to like get injured. That was still the last few weeks before the due date for a new normal for the last few
Oh
clips.
yeah.
Okay.
So I still had a few things I wanted to hit, and I just didn't want to like get so fucked up
Yeah, right.
that I couldn't do anything. So I wanted to save that for that last weekend or so. But surprisingly, it took like I think 5 tries.
Oh, nice.
So that one wasn't
For the
too
garbage?
bad.
Knocked it out.
That's crazy, dude.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's
and I
no
was
wardrobe. I like the
visualizing it a
ones that
lot.
are like.
Can we
wardrobe
pull that
changes.
clip? I want to go ahead and now that we're in this segment
Can.
talking about the garage clip, I want to go ahead and play that clip for the audience and then just for us to watch in.
Starts to the nudge.
So awesome. What's wrong with it? That's awesome.
Just when I
Give it
landed
up.
that, this random guy walks by, and yeah, I was trying to do like this little skit for the video. Like I'm just so fed up, and I'm glad it's over with, so I'm just tossing it away. And he actually thinks I'm throwing it away, and then at the end he goes, "What's wrong with it?" And then I was at the end. I was like, "Sorry, man. I was just rolling it because he said, 'Can you have it?' And I said yes. And I was like, 'Sorry, I was just doing it for the video.'" He's like, "Oh."
He's like, but you
man."
said I have you on camera saying yes, I can have it.
Oh man. So yeah, I felt kind of bad. But he was a good sport.
That's good.
It's like,
But yeah,
sorry,
that-
homie.
I think I was just like mentally preparing that, like just anything that could go wrong. I did a few practice hops off of it, so I'm very glad I got that relatively quickly. But aside from that, other battles, like there was another one. I guess my ender in a new normal was the bonk tail slide. Man, that was absolutely
Tail
a
slides
battle.
are hard. Tail slides are hard on a one wheel.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's battery heavy. It just like once you get in, it just whips you around. So you just side swipe, right? And so that took many tries. The battery I think went out on one of the lights. I was about to leave. I was just like, fuck this. Like, I'll try next time, whatever.
Dude.
And then because Bodie was there with me, we had a small film crew with Julian, Ryan, Bodie's girlfriend, Bliss.
Nice.
So they're all super supportive, cheering me on, but I was just not getting. And then the bonk, we had nobody brought a bonker, so we had to get just some pieces of rock that was right next to the curb, and it was just like super brittle. So every time I bonked it, it was just shattered. It was just break.
Which looks great on video, but
Yeah, looking back, it's like, oh, that's like went through all that.
yeah.
But it was a nightmare in the moment. Like I had to like stack layers of the rock just to like create some sort of angle. And then even then it was like the board just karate chopped it and just like and then I had to start the whole thing over again. Like if you look back on that video, it's just covered in dust, you know, just different types of rock. There's a red brick, there was white
Bonk
rock.
debris. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it was gnarly. But anyway, yeah, I just started popping it really hard on the last few tries because then thankfully, but it's nice to have a spotter, like someone just watching. And then I think a big thing that helps during battles is like what I've learned is instead of just like pushing through, which you want to do because you have momentum, but you also want to take breaks and ask for feedback.
Yeah.
And even if like nobody knows how to trick, like they can see something that you're not noticing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I asked Buddy like, what the heck am I missing here? Like I'm just not getting the air. I'm not locking in. He was like, you need to. It looks like you're rolling over the bonk. You're not. You need to pop that fucker. Like you need to hit it hard. So I started doing that in the last few, and finally got the air to climb back on, and then locked on the tail slide. But then I forgot there's a freaking telephone pole that I had to get through as well. Then it got
crazy.
wedged in. You guys probably saw.
I saw that was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like nightmare after nightmare. So even though I locked on the tail, I had to get past. So the telephone pole is actually something Bodie did a few months prior, and he did a regular nose slide, a backside nose slide.
Oh, nice.
And you have to let the tail hit the pole, so it weaves around, and then you whip it back, or you slide at it at an angle like a crooked grind if you can hold it. Yeah,
Just
you
like
can do either way.
Squeeze in. Yeah.
Yeah, because only a growler can really fit through nothing, or a pint, but not a full size XR. So at the last one, I got that tail, hit the nose, it whipped around too much, but I slid like super far down, and we're just like, holy shit, like we got this. So I just hopped back right back on, and just didn't want to stop. And then finally that last one, yeah, locked in, hit the nose, pushed it back, whipped it back around, rode away. I was like, thank God this is over.
For everyone listening to, like, and if you've never skated, if you've never snowboard, like when you're in that zone, you're in the battle, right? And you're like, I've got this thing, I got to land it, I'm going for it. Like, it's just, I mean, it's like being in the gym, but with like weight that's going to fuck you up, because you're getting hit, you're going to take slams, you're coming back for it. And when you have those people, I feel like that's one of the reasons, like even in our shop rides, a lot of us have progressed so quick because there's 2 or 3 of us.
Coach Christian!
We've always got some eyeballs on us, like, and then, hey, I don't want to tell you what to do, but
Yeah, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your
Funniest
life,
thing
but
ever.
the thing that you're fucking up right now is pretty obvious. Yeah.
but when you have that in those battles, especially when you have somebody there who's just like kind of leaning or showing you the footage or something, like you can just get through those battles a lot quicker, as opposed to like me just out here in my backyard, like hitting it over and over again, like what the fuck am I doing wrong? I can't, you know. So
That was one of the biggest things when I started filming myself. When I first started skating, that was actually the first thing I did was I set up a camera and just tried to ollie, and I'd get like just to see, and I'd be like, oh, that was like a half inch. Oh, that was a good one. Wow,
Dude,
so
I technically
sick,
got
so
air.
sick.
I technically got air, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's obviously the solution if you can just film yourself, but having someone there, again, it's kind of having that second set of eyes that you may not see, like, oh, you're throwing your weight this way, and like you shouldn't be here.
Yeah,
second
and
perspective too, because even like if you watch your own footage sometimes, and I'm sure you've been like this too, Max, like you'll watch your footage and then like you think you know how to fix it, but then there's somebody else who's either got like close to something and just figured it out. There's so many subtleties in it that somebody else can point out or figure out. So.
Yeah, and I think it's nice too having a hype man or a woman, like
Yeah, for
somebody just
sure.
being like, dude, I know you feel like you suck right now, but you're gonna get this. You know, I mean, obviously, like probably not in that tone, like, but you know,
Can you do that for me from now on?
You're gonna get it, or Aldo, you're gonna get this one. Keep going, bud. You were like so close, like 4 tries ago. Like if you could just do it like that. Yeah.
So what's so funny is that so my girlfriend's usually with me all the time when I film. We kind of do our own sessioning, and before it would be like what you said, Christian, is like, babe, you almost got this, like keep at it, like very supportive, positive. And then I think as time went on and she started to be part of many battles, she would be like, it would get to the point of frustration. Where she would be like, especially during winter, she'd be like, babe, I'm getting cold. Like, you need to land this. Like, you get 5 more tries, and that's it. Babe, I'm hungry. And you know there's nothing more dangerous than a hungry.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're not getting.
So that's the opposite side of motivation to land it. And then the other aspect is before, like, somebody would maybe a skater or something be like, yeah, just stick it, you got this, dude. Fucking, land it, send it.
Yeah,
and then it
yeah.
would just pump you up. And then so Miri would start going if I'm like just half-assing it and not fully committing, she'd be like, pussy. I'm like, what? All right, fuck this. Let's go. It's on now. So there's different techniques she has to get me to land shit.
Nothing more motivating than pussy.
Yeah.
The 4 times in my life that my wife has called me a pussy have been the funniest moments in my entire life.
Were you doing a skate trick?
I feel like it's been in a lot of like different and usually it's like, so my wife like doesn't say too many bad words. She like saves them up for really funny moments. And so she'll just like rip it out and you're like, this is the best minute I've ever had like in the whole day, you know?
So accentuated and everything, like all the syllables are right on point.
Yeah. And she'll rip out a bad one like fucking cunt or something like that. And I'll be like, did you just like call me a cunt? This is the weirdest.
It's got to feel so much better doing it that way, like not swearing like ever, and then like, okay, the month it's
I
coming
swear
up,
all the
it's
time, so
coming up.
nobody cares.
Yeah, right.
Even when I'm angry, people are like, that's just that dude being himself. Yeah, he must be okay. I don't. You said something about going to the gym. I don't have any really frame of reference for that, but I will say the single-mindedness that you get, which can be destructive to like actually landing the thing, or whatever. But it's a really special zone. So I think that's probably what people like about going to the gym. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just that zone. Like, well, again, I used to personal train, and like I've noticed that like when I skate, when I snowboard, when I've been in the gym, like it's the zone, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. And when you're locked in, like no one can fucking mess with you. Like you need to go through it, and so it's hard. And I'm sure you can agree, Max. Like to break out of that zone and like figure out what am I doing wrong to get out of this. You know, like sometimes you're just like. Go back, go get it, hit it.
Well, the nice thing about working out is it's like you have a set thing in front of you that's like you do it, you do reps and it's whatever. And like obviously, if you're trying to hit like a max weight or something like that, you might not get it. But
well, and there's
skating,
there's form stuff too that somebody that you would benefit from an extra eye or whatever.
That's true too. That's true too. But yeah, skating, it's like you might not.
But
get
a trick,
it.
it's
like you can. It doesn't matter how hard you try, you still might not get it. It's like you can put all your effort into it, but when it's not, it's more of like a finesse or like a form type thing.
Yeah. I think it becomes really hard to analyze your stuff when you're in the zone. It's really hard to analyze the details of what you're doing. Right. So you need a girlfriend or something on the side.
Call you a pussy.
A feisty girlfriend that won't be afraid to put her foot down. Yeah.
Now, does your girl ride? No, does your girl ride?
She does ride. Okay. Yes.
Cool. Do you got her aboard and everything too? Is she like out there whipping tricks right with you, or is she just like a basic rider?
She's a more of a chiller cruiser, but she's recently gotten working on her bonks.
Okay.
So she got like 2 inches of air, and
Yep.
I was so proud of that because she refused to do like even bonks a few months prior. So she's working on those and working on some balance lines to like a curb drop sort of thing.
Cool.
So yeah, she's hosting like her own girl-female rides as well.
Oh, that's
Like,
awesome.
That's awesome.
yeah, when they get together, they like try different things and elevate each other. So it's really
That's
great
fire.
to see.
I love seeing it, and I keep on getting requests for like women on the podcast to come in and stuff. I'm like, yes, like let's have one woman, one wheel, have her take over.
Have them come back.
Have I think this weekend actually, because we're gonna be at Mike's Bike Park. We're gonna do a little bit with Jamie, Jamie Bryant. I think is her last name. She did 3rd place race for the rail. I love seeing the women like out there just pushing the stoke.
Yeah, Jamie's killing it.
I want to backtrack just a little bit in your journey here, Max, because we have Pint, right, going into XR, getting sponsored by one stop board shop, and then Growlers, right? You're saying that's like one of your favorite setups. Like, what made you make that transition, or how did you even figure out about Growlers? Like, how did that come about?
Yeah, I think I first heard about that through the Facebook groups, and then people just mentioning about it. I didn't quite understand it. It was something Jeff at Float Life came up with.
Yeah.
And I think I wasn't really sold on it. I just didn't think it would make that much difference. Oh, there was also McNuggets rails. If you guys remember,
that's right.
that was
That's right.
yeah, that was the original. I think.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, what are the Nuggets rails? Because I came out.
Yeah, it was kind of the precursor to the Growler, but I think because I only had heard the term thrown around a few times. I'm like, what in the hell is that? A McNugget? What is going on? I don't want to eat my board.
Oh, okay. So that actually reminds me. I tried a McNugget the first time I rode with Jeff and Bodie, I think back in 2020. And yeah, so he was like, you need to try this. And so when I rode it, I was like, holy crap, okay, I can see what the hype's about.
I'm so sorry. There's a fucking stink bug that's just buzzing the fuck out of our light right now. It's so distracting to all of us ADHD people.
You need to be filming this. Christian he's really giving it a good go.
We need like some,
There's 2 of them. Oh shit. All right. Hold
we
on
need
a
like some
second.
suspenseful music or something.
That's all I got.
Wow. Okay. Good work, boys. Good. Wow, that was one and gave him the 1-2 punch. Wow, where is the GoPro in the studio when you need it? We need the.
So in Ohio, we get a lot of fucking
about that.
stink
Oh
bugs,
my
and we just
God.
had a
Yeah.
double one coming off our main light.
That should really be the national.
Were they mating?
Oh,
another one.
they're doing it live. Yeah, they made it live and just kind of.
And there's one on the top.
We need another
they're-
intro
as
for
soon
this.
As as soon as it starts warming up in Ohio, we'll have like, so this time of year we have like 2 days in a row they're like in the 50s and 60s, and then it'll go back down to the 20s for like a week, and so it does that for like 6 weeks.
Yeah. So
And the bugs come out of hibernation, specifically these, which
Yeah.
love barns and attics and
So
stuff.
the stink bug army is here, and the pushback army is going to push them the fuck back.
It was you, Stinky.
All right.
Love
So
and stink is in the air.
yes.
Did you know that? I heard that.
Oh my God, there's another one.
I know.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, he's gonna be up there.
There's
That's
gonna
all
be
right.
more.
We got 2 of
I
them
heard that
out. They were the
smell
ones that were like
attracts
buzzing back
them.
and forth. So,
Weird, right?
Messed up.
Yeah.
all right. So, all right. Back into we're at Growlers, right? Jeff, we're at McNuggets. We're not
Sorry.
eating our boards here. These are McDonald's Onewheels.
Yeah, so
What
how,
did you-
how tasty is a McNugget? A nugget.
Dude, McNuggets are the spicy McNuggets.
Yeah.
They need to bring that back.
I didn't know they ever
I'm
left.
just grateful they keep it at like $5 after like 30 years still.
Yeah. Right.
5 or 6. I think it's $6 now.
Still a good price. It's still worth
Still
it.
good.
So what was the nugget board? I kind of forget now at this point what that build actually even was.
Yeah, it's also kind of a blur for me too, but it's definitely shorter. I don't know by how much. I don't know if it was thicker or anything like that, but for sure it was just a shorter rail, and then it just gave it that whippier response.
Yeah.
And then I think from there it kind of opened my eyes to it. I still wasn't entirely sold, because I wasn't like that much into tricking just yet, like ground tricks. But I think when Jeff came out with the Growler, he was like, I think he commented on one of my posts or something. He was like, "You need to get a Growler." I was like, back then I was still thinking like Growler the cup, the Growler
Yeah.
size, and I was
The
trying to
cup.
connect the joke, and I was like, it was totally out of context, and I was just stumped. So I was asking people, I actually Googled Growler, definition of Growler, if there's like different definitions, like you can use it as an inside joke or something.
Yeah. Right.
It's just nothing.
Nothing. Just yep. It's just
Shitload
some
of
beer, man.
Yeah.
You get nothing.
Get yourself a Growler, boy.
But it worked from a marketing perspective because it gets your head scratching, like, what does he mean? And I think he gave more details later. And anyway, so I looked that up, and I tried one of his, I think at the shop, back when he had his small shop in Sac, and then then decided to pull the trigger. And
How did you get hooked up with those guys? Like, because it sounds like you went from like a hobby rider to like the person that we know today pretty quickly. So, like, how did that journey start into? I know we got to where you're at. You became sponsored by One Stop Board Shop. And then did that launch you into your quote unquote pro career, or like how did you get hooked up with the Float Life gang and like everybody that you're riding with these days?
yeah, definitely. One Stop Board Shop was definitely a great door to be open, I think, and just helped me create more content and just push me to elevate, push myself harder. So I think from there, it was wanting to up my trail game. I saw Austin Silva and Neil Bennett, and they're just sending it off drops and ramps on dirt.
Neil Bennett is
And they were
one wheel Neil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
one wheel,
Yep.
the wheel Neil.
The
The
wheel,
wheel
Neil.
Neil. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And turning magnets for Austin. But back then they were kind of just like they're in their beginner, not beginner, but like their starting days before they just skyrocketed in their one wheel careers.
Yeah.
But so I saw their videos they were posting, and I was like sending off graw ramps and doing bonks, without fins, and nothing against fins, or
Yeah, no.
total respect
None
for them.
taken. None taken.
But I was like, I have to send it with these boys. I must send it with these boys because I like to ride without fins too. That's my preference.
Yeah.
And the way that they were getting air off just rocks and they're building, shit, really, really got me intrigued. So I reached out to Neil in Austin, and we set up some rides. Well, no, we wanted to set up a ride in Roseville, which is close to Sac. So it was just supposed to be us three. And I think we rode together the first day, us three, and then with Mercedes, Austin's the now wife. And then I think the next day we meet up again, and then a van pulls up, and I'll never forget this. We're in the parking lot about to start riding trails, and then a van just starts doing donuts in the dirt parking lot.
Okay.
I'm like, what the fuck? And I look closer, and it's Bodie driving the van, and Jeff in the passenger seat. And I guess Neil told them that we're riding, and then they just decided to show up.
That's fire.
And it was a really cool surprise. But I was like,
Nice.
I was like starstruck, because you see these guys on the internet just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, I'm starstruck right
legends, right? And I'm like, holy crap, you guys came just for me? But it was actually because with Neil. But I was like, I was like pretty much a nobody back then. But
You're the side piece.
yeah, exactly. I was just tagging along. But
Just
yeah,
some
so
Mexicino guy.
So we started riding, and dude, these guys just started like there's these like wooden ramps like to maybe a 2-foot drop to a downhill slope. And up until that point, I haven't done anything bigger than probably like a curb drop. I did do that wheel drag off the ramp, which was like 3 feet, but like just going downhill, I've never done anything that big. And instantly, the first thing they do is just start dropping off. They do backside 180s off of it, no warm up at all.
Yeah.
And I asked them like, "Do we need to warm up, or like, do we need to stretch or anything?" Like, I was just like, "Dude, this is going way too fast for me."
They're like, we've already smoked
Yeah,
a
so
joint.
that
We're
was
fine.
that was
We're
the first
loosened
day I
up.
linked up with them.
Cool.
And then I
Nice.
I saw them doing flat ground tricks after the trail session, and I think I went to their shop afterwards, and then just just started to mingle and set up more rides with them.
Cool. And dude, congrats on the series with them. Dude, the tips you're putting out, the MADD tips, they're fire, man. I've watched every one of those. Like Pushback's a supporter of the float life and everything, and we've been watching. I've been personally watching all of them. The trick tips you're putting out, dude, I love them. I love the way you're teaching them. It's sweet.
Dude, that means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, I figured I wanted to give some of my pointers of tricks I haven't quite seen yet, and kind of break it down for some people because I get asked a lot. So just wanted to put a little bit
dude,
of
my
comedy
favorite,
in there, too.
the nose drags, man. So like we were in the shop yesterday practicing, and I'm trying to like go back through because I love getting into the nose drag. It's so good, but I've always gotten into it like so sudden, and it finally clicked for me yesterday. It's like it's kind of gradual when you get into it. Like you can't, if you go just nail straight down on it, it's not gonna like you're gonna get sent off it.
You have to meet the ground like a lover.
Yeah, it's like a gradual though, right?
There's foreplay involved.
Yeah.
And this is
But
why
yeah, you totally hit it. It's completely different than a wheel drag because a wheel drag you can just smash the nose down
Yeah.
as hard as you want and it'll just start rolling. But a nose drag takes finesse. There's constant adjustment, right, with depending on the friction.
Right.
You got to be using your arms, your leg pressure, your upper body. It's
And then you have to
there's
keep
a lot
yourself
going
ready
on.
to react to like anything that happens.
And that's exactly what happened. I have a fat ass bruise on my butt because I was going and I got into the zone. So Travis's shop is only like, we'll say 30 feet. And so I loop around his shop And I get into the drag, and I'm in that gradual zone, and I just drag all the way across this floor, and all of a sudden I look up, and it's his paint and oil and all that shit. And I'm like, oh fuck! And so I go back, and the board just whips out from me, hits his shelf. I go down on my ass, crack my skull, and luckily I was wearing a helmet. Yes, I was wearing a helmet.
Good boy.
Finally.
Yes. It's got a bill. I like the helmet, but so cracked my ass from it. But yeah, I finally just that gradual go into it. And I now think the worst thing I could hurt myself on nose drags isn't the run out. It's if I've got to stop suddenly and the board just whips out from me. And I'm like, oh shit.
If you're going too fast towards a rack of paint.
Yes, exactly.
I think it's brake cleaner if I know the right.
Yeah, right.
So
Brake
it's,
cleaner.
It's flammable and explosives.
Let me send this huge thing with a battery in it that could explode.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. Prove
But yeah,
it.
the tail dragging after a nose drag is the worst.
Okay.
Because all the momentum goes on the backside.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen people sprain ankles and crack, butt cheeks. Implants have fallen out. I'm just kidding. But
That'd be
yeah,
me.
it's definitely better to fall forward than
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like.
Yep.
Unless it's
Scary.
into brake cleaner. If it's into brake cleaner, I suggest you just take it in the ass.
I don't know.
Take
what
it like a
is.
man.
Wait, is this one? That's the one. There it is.
That's awesome.
All right.
So that's how you met.
Yeah, actually. Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that a nose drag memory was in. This is one of the first times I met you in Tahoe when we went riding with quite a few people. That was the first time I also rode with Neil and Austin. But yeah, I remember sessioning right in front of their Airbnb. We were trying the Bonk 180s. We were trying some nose drag and things like that. Because I think we were both trying to figure out the Bonk 180 kind of at the same time. We're like, yeah, how are you doing it? How are you doing it? Because I still didn't really understand I get them kind of, but and you could too. And we were kind of doing them our own way. And it was interesting kind of having that small shared experience too. Like figuring out a trick a little bit there.
Dude, that was amazing. Yeah, I was just remembering.
Yeah, it was a great
that.
trip. Great trip.
Yeah, we were after trails we would try tricking around in the street. And I remember Ori, he did this 3 combo trick where it was like he did a bonk 180, a drop varial, and then a what was the third one? There was another 180.
That must have been
into
my
it.
doppelganger.
Some other-
Where was this? Was it still in front of the Airbnb or?
No, you posted it on Facebook or something.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 3 different types of 180s in a row, and then I clearly remember you hit that bonk 180 so good. And
Yeah,
I think that was the thing that really got me wanting to learn it. And so we were big shout out to you, by the way, because you gave me some good tips on that too. But
Absolutely.
I think also, what's his name? What's the Badger? Robert.
Yep.
Robert, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Robert. Haven't seen him in ages, but yeah, Robert was saying I need to pop it quicker because I think I was just kind of like twisting too fast. So it was just so fun figuring out the dynamic and the physics of all that. And,
For sure.
So I actually just did the last Mad Tips video on the Bonk 180.
Oh, nice. I didn't even see that
So-
one.
I haven't watched that one
Kudos
yet,
to you,
but
Ori,
that one's going to become
being a
next.
part of that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was my pleasure.
And it was also funny, just going back a little bit to Neil and Austin, is when us three, we started like, trying stuff and sending over ramps and all that. Fast forward, eventually, like we upped each other's game, and it was us 3 that transitioned into the Float Life team together.
Very cool.
So that was a
That's
really
awesome.
That's
humbling
awesome.
moment.
And you guys have just the Onewheel Olympics, right? Like, so I know Onewheel did it originally, but now the Float Life took just took precedent and went ahead and continued that on since Onewheel only did it one time. The Onewheel Olympics, I just watched you in that. How did that
yeah.
go? How did you feel about that? Are there more to come? I haven't kept totally up because they're pretty long, but how was that?
Dude, it was an absolute blast. I just love the Float Life, first of all, because they're just open to all sorts of humor.
Yeah.
Just like you guys, there's
Yeah.
like really no limit. So they're open to goofiness, and yeah, it was just a fun time because you're combining like skill and sending it with just putting on a fun show.
Yeah.
Make it as ridiculous as you can.
Right.
So I enjoyed it. We did I think there should be three more events coming.
Okay.
There's gonna be like a relay races, which is gonna be absolutely hilarious.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think we were gonna do like more individual events, but I think we ran out of time.
Okay.
It would have been cool to have like individual events separately and then like a team event
Yeah.
separate too, because I think they pulled the scores together and that was your overall sort of thing. So it was more like a decathlon
Yeah, I
style
gotcha.
format. But either way, it was amazing fun for their first Olympics effort, and yeah, it was really and Jeff, man, that guy, like he's always complaining about his knees, you know. He's just like,
yeah.
oh, like
He
hunched over, I'm
complains.
old.
Oh, he always complains.
Yeah, and then
but
he
then
just out of nowhere, always like just comes flying out into first and just takes the event out of nowhere.
It's a ploy.
So
He's a shark. He's a one-wheel
He's a
shark.
total
Yeah.
shark. Total shark. He makes you just like, oh, I don't have to worry about him. And then he's like, and he just tries really hard.
I think that's called sandbagging too, right?
I think that's called sand. I think in
confirm?
the circles they call it sandbagging.
Jeff Sandbag
But no,
McCosker.
he's just amazing talent. Yeah, it was fun
Truly
to see
inspiring.
everyone how they kind of stacked up on certain events. So
Now, for reference to our age group of people, we've got a dynamic age group listening. How old are you?
I'm 34.
34.
No,
All right.
35.
35. All right. There we go. Fact checked. Christian just turned 36.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Yep. So
Last year, mid 30s.
Yeah, that's right. And then his late 30s after that, right? Yeah. My children put they just like grabbed some number candle. So I have kids that are 1, 3, and 7, and so we have like 1, 3, and 7, like like all the numbers up to 7 basically. But apparently there was no 3. I don't know. They picked a 4 and a 7. So I there's photos of me blowing out candles with a cake that says 47, and the 4 is backwards. So I don't know. It's pretty good. So I'm 36 or 47.
Or 47.
yeah, right. 36 or 47. It's all good. So like at 30, and Max, you said 34, right?
35. He corrected
35.
himself.
Yeah, 35. How do you feel? Do you still skate? Like, do you still skate or just one wheel now?
No, I don't do any skating. I do a little bit of like longboarding,
Okay.
just for cruising. But no, like I eat shit enough on the one wheel. I don't want to like
Gotcha.
expand that to anything else.
I was curious
Some
just
people
on
do
like
it.
like impact. You know what I mean? Like I still skate. Like I got a mini ramp in my backyard. Pretty much I just stick to vert at this point. Like I'll throw a board slide in every now and then or tail slide, but I try to keep the impact off because especially going on just urethane wheels. But I feel like on a one wheel you get less impact. I don't, maybe just because of that rubber
I think
tire.
I
in the
agree
middle.
with you. Yeah.
for sure.
Although I don't do anything like any of these guys do. But
Because if you're doing drops, it's there's some impact there, but
Yeah.
still
Right.
still better than dropping on a skateboard.
surely
though.
it's less than a skateboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure, less than a
Yeah.
skateboard. How do you feel about like being a 35 rider still like how
Being a geriatric rider,
yeah.
how do you feel about the impact?
how's it feel on your body?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's definitely, you have to think about sustainability for sure. I definitely have changed my game. I don't do crazy big drops anymore, like no more than maybe a 3-stair. I leave it up to the young kids, the up and comers. You know, the 15
Some of those guys, my lord,
they're just going so hard. It's like, and it's never ending. Like they clear a gap. Well, what's next? You got to go a bigger gap. You know, you
Yeah.
go down 10 stairs. What's next? You got to go 11, 12. And for me, like, so that wake up call was during a wheel scorcher. That was probably my biggest injury. So we were, that's actually probably the biggest battle I've had is we were doing, or you may have remembered because you were racing on the course. You remember at the
I
end?
wasn't.
they
I
put
wasn't
the-
at Wheel Scorcher. That was one
Oh,
I
you
couldn't
weren't at
make
Wheel
it to.
Scorcher, my
Yeah,
bad.
I missed that one.
You're usually at all the race for the
I know.
rail events.
I
so-
went to a lot of them last year. I'm really gonna piecemeal this year to figure out which, because I burnt myself out last year. I just because you just accumulate a little crash here, a little crash there, and then eventually it was just
Yeah.
like I was just an inflamed.
He's a Michelin man over here.
Yeah. But yeah, so what was the battle at Wheel Scorcher?
Yeah, so it was Onewheel set up their sign there at the very end of the course, and it was like a very steep wooden ramp up to a gap, and then onto another wooden platform, and then
yeah.
at that platform there's another gap, and then it went to a downhill wooden platform, and so we were sending it off, clearing the first gap, and then riding on the flat platform, and we put a bonk rock at the end to clear the second gap and then land downhill. We, all three of us, it was me, Jay, and I forgot the other homie's name, but 2 guys from Florida. And so it literally, I think it was like an hour of us just sending it off that and just falling and just covered in dirt. And we just did not want to quit. And then eventually the other 2 guys hit it, and I was so happy. And I was like, fuck, I'm the only one left. I have to stick.
I have to.
Man, and I fell like already hard, like at least 5-6 times, and I was just there was one I even fell. I tail slid on the flat platform, and then it tail dragged, lost control, and I slipped through the crack. It was probably like a 4-foot drop.
Wow.
Hit my shoulder on the back of the downhill wooden ramp. It was just bad, dude. But I was like, nope, in too deep. I gotta get this. So I land on the last try. I land on my big toe, my rear big toe foot. And all my weight went on that big toe, and it tore the bottom of my foot, the plantar.
Wow.
Fascia. Yeah. So it tore it instantly. I like sprained all the tendons in my upper toes. I sprained my outer ankle because then the ankle went outwards. I probably should have sent you guys a clip. But
was that
it was gnarly.
Is that like surgery to fix that, or was it? Mountain. Yeah. Was it? Did you have to have surgery, or was it like just don't use it forever?
Don't use it forever.
Got X-rays, and luckily nothing was broken. But the downside of that is there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
You just have to recover. God. So I was out for like 3 months.
Wow.
Yikes. But two lessons from that is, one, going back to getting feedback. I watched the videos and I was like, holy shit! I kept leaning back.
Yeah.
On the drop, the bonk to drop. And I kept tail dragging. If I just shifted my upper body forward just a little bit, it would have been scarier, but I could have saved myself so many bails.
Right.
So taking just a 5-minute breather between, even though you got momentum, just to watch some footage is critical when you're sessioning.
Yeah, I don't think you lose momentum. Like, I don't know. Like, I think you'll lose momentum. But if you literally, even if it's just for 2-3 minutes, like to step back, like breathe, maybe look at some footage, take some feedback, and then get back into it.
Sometimes the injuries kick in though in that small window.
Yeah, I agree.
They're like,
for sure. They don't
hand me a beer. Somebody hand me a beer real quick.
As soon as you tone down the adrenaline or whatever, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. I am actually in pain.
Yeah. Like.
Yeah. Like, why am I doing this?
You're just looking at the clock, like, all right, I got 30 seconds. Give me the feedback now. I've got 30 seconds.
It's starting to hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No more time for you.
Window.
Too slow. Let's go. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I learned that. And then the second thing was that this is not my game anymore. Because I'm almost 200 pounds. So if a guy like me falls incorrectly on a limb, I mean, we're going to be out for a few months.
Yeah.
So I've adjusted my game.
Worse. Yeah. It could be much worse. Yeah. You could it could be a career ender.
Yeah.
Dude,
exactly.
you only have 2 knees, and they can't really fix them that well, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, that moment came to me, as you were saying, Christian, because I was laying down on the dirt, looking up at the trees, and then Jay was holding my leg up because it was swelling, and there's mosquitoes flying around my face. They're like biting me.
How did I get to this shithole?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, not getting paid enough to do this.
The movie sound comes in. You're probably wondering how I got here.
Like making a salary.
Yeah.
Or anything.
That's the intro of the film where they tell the history of how you got to that point. Before
this is where you pause. The mosquitoes are flying, and it pauses on you, and it's like, you're probably wondering how I got to this moment.
Well, I guess it all started about 3 years ago when I saw some guy riding at a.
Dang, man.
Dude. That's awesome.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
So let me ask
yeah.
you this. I've been curious about this the whole time. Do you have a different day job, or is like one wheeling your income source right now?
So definitely don't make any substantial income
Sure.
to make a living.
Right.
That's why I don't really like the term pro, because
Yeah.
I feel like we still have some ways to go before we
There's
are
scale
actual
for
pro
sure.
riders.
Yeah.
Like you could probably count, I don't know, between our hands, like the pros in the industry. Like
Yeah.
there's not many.
I mean, it's possible, surely, but
And even then,
gotta
it's
be
like it's
that.
kind of like what you're is. I mean,
Yeah, but taking
pro
home-
would say
yeah.
like you get paid basically. But
Yeah, but taking home
people have a-
$18,000 a year.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like I made it in one wheeling, but
yeah.
you know,
There is a scale there. Yes.
yeah. So do you have a day job then?
No, I am. I've been fun employed for the last 2 years.
Hey,
Nice.
Yeah.
what do you
work,
do?
So I sold my food truck business,
Okay.
the whole thing, and handed that off. So I've been planning this. Even if I didn't sell it, I was ready to close it. But yeah, I just been planning this break because I was working in that food industry for a good 8 years. Just totally burnt out. Went from loving cooking to hating cooking.
Yeah.
I 100% know what that feels like. Yeah.
Yeah, like it really tests your passion if you make it a career. So I'm slowly getting back to just enjoying it again, cooking here and there, but it's taking some time. So yeah, no, I just been traveling all last year to one wheel events. Just pretty much saved up to take some time off.
That's awesome.
So
That's really
yeah,
cool.
thank you.
I'm
I think-
I'm giving you props to the fun employed. I'm
Yeah, I like
using
that
from
too,
now.
yeah, fun
I am fun employed. I don't. that is amazing. I love
that's
it.
good.
yes.
I'm gonna have to take a fun employed break real quick in a minute here, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah. What I was gonna say, what events do you have lined up for this year? Like, what are you planning on attending?
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna skip out on Dirt Surfers, the one coming up, because that's primarily racing.
Yeah.
And I've come to the realization that I'm probably not going to take the crown anytime soon. It was a very humbling racing experience last year because you just see so many fast riders,
Right.
And
consistently fast.
even more so this year, it's like it is so stacked. There are so many fast kids out there. Like
I know.
It's crazy, dude. Like, it's crazy. I went out that last week when it was like 55, and I was like, man, my tears are like rolling back in my eyes. I'm like, I'm going so fast. This is awesome. And I was going 15 and a half miles an hour. Oh, jeez.
Hey, it's all relative, man.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
as
mean,
long
you-
as you feel
Yeah, I mean, it felt awesome, but
speed
like,
is a number, fast is a feeling.
yeah, okay, fair enough. Same with age and all that.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just like I've been riding in Travis' 30-foot long shop, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I love that resource, but it's like you can
Once you get out,
yeah, like, and I was like, this is amazing. And then of course I'm like doing my slowest ride.
Yup.
I was like,
he's planning on race. Travis is planning on racing at
Dude.
Oak City.
Oh, is
I
it
don't know.
really?
Yeah.
watching those guys go fast though. I mean, that's what spawned that but like watching people go
So not
25 miles an hour is just mind blowing.
Yeah,
and up, it just feels weird.
and
watching
that
it,
with
like,
the GTs getting introduced this year, that's gonna be another story.
we'll see.
Yeah.
But all right, so not
That'd be a
attending
great
Dirt
thing.
Surfers. Are you coming to Oak City, or what else you got on your plan?
Yeah, so Oak City, I saw some videos of that. It looks amazing. Definitely want to try to make it to that.
Cool.
But then I want to do Shred Fest as well.
Okay.
Yep.
But that's like back to back, I believe. So it will be a little bit tough. Ideally both. If not, then at least one of them for sure. Vegas, want to head back down there. San Diego. No, San Diego's coming up in 2 weeks. Going to that. That's the Wheel Fun weekend too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw that in our
And-
Discord channel, which, by the way, we have a Discord channel with anyone who's never been on Discord. We just a bunch of one-wheelers chatting it up. Somebody was mentioning about the Wheel Fun weekend coming up. That sound really interesting. It's so hard to get out to the West Coast and the East Coast with 3 kids, but
And a board.
and a board. Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
ship
'cause
it
then
out.
you either
figure
ship it or
out.
you're driving, right? Like it's and then shipping is totally reliable in this country right now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yes.
that was the biggest, I think, thing that started to get tiring is just packing up your board, shipping it out, stuffing gear in there. I feel like if at least board shipping was like covered in some sponsorships, I think that would help out a
Yeah,
lot.
Yeah, because it's like over $100 depending on where you're going, right? So you're like, it's like the price of a hotel stay just to get your board there, and the logistics is probably a nightmare. I don't know.
And then it can, it's if you're chipping into an Airbnb or something like that, then it can get like held up, and then it gets rerouted. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff can happen.
Yeah.
Try
So
with it.
I'm probably just gonna keep it to those, and then also Float Life Fest. So probably 4 or 5 events this year. I think I went to maybe 7 or 8 last year.
Wow.
So just cutting it
Trooper.
down just a little bit.
Yeah.
Hardcore, man. Well, hopefully we'll be able to see you out at some events. Pushback Army, we're going to be trying to go to as many events. I know we're going to be at Oak City Shred Fest. We're going to be sponsoring. Josh is going to be coming on to the show. He's going to be talking a little bit with us, talking about what they're going to be doing there. It looks great. I mean, they've been really pushing it hard. And
got my ticket just the other day.
it's gonna be cool. Now we just got to get Ori involved in it, right?
Yeah, dude.
Not coming.
Yeah, right.
Only because you guys, Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't come. You suck. Cool. I want to go back before we finish this. I want to look at some of these other clips that you had submitted. We've got the bonk nose slide. I want to watch that clip and talk a little bit about that. Yo.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, and that return bonk too.
Jeez.
Poppy as fuck. One more time. I gotta see that one more
We got to
time.
watch this one more time here.
Yeah.
Yes.
So do you feel like because I feel like a bonk to nose slide might actually be harder than a bonk to tail slide. How do you feel?
It's different aspects. I would say bonking up to the nose slide is probably harder.
Yeah.
Because it's so annoying clipping the nose.
Yeah, you kind of have to keep your nose down and then get it onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's finding that perfect range and angle depending on the bonk that you have too. So it's like figuring out, do I come at it 45 degrees or maybe 60 degrees, 30, and then the distance away from the object. Because I was battling that one too for a good, probably an hour and a half. And the nose sometimes would just get clipped underneath the rail.
Oh.
And that happened so many times. So I would say locking onto a bonk tail slide slightly easier, but then coming out of a tail slide's harder.
Yeah.
And then coming out of the nose slide's easier. So it's opposite end. Yeah. But that was the first time I tried the bonk to nose slide, because that's when I saw Dirt.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the Onewheel movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And when Bodie and Kyle were bonking up to these huge rails or ledges.
That was pretty incredible.
And that was a game changer for our community, because prior to that, it was just like a nose slappy, right? You're just riding up to the curb and sliding it, which I always felt there was something missing. You need a little pop before. With skateboarding, you always got to pop or nollie into something.
Right.
So I really, was really excited when I saw that. So when I went up to SAC that day, I was like, let's try a bonk to no slide. So I was happy I got that. And Bodie's cheekily snuck in Bali no slide.
Yeah. That's what I was laughing about when I heard the clip.
Bonk versus Bali.
I know,
Who's
but
team
Bodie,
who?
I just don't think it's catching on, bro. I think bonk's here to stay.
No, I agree with Nico, he'll post sometimes sometimes it sounds okay depending on what you combine it with. But the bonk is it's the original, it's the OG.
And it's perfectly descriptive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's
it is.
exactly what it is. It's
every
exactly
time
what
I hear-
it feels like. It's
Every time I hear Bali, I just think vacation.
yeah. Bonk is almost an onomatopoeia. We're just
It's so
That's
sad.
exactly what it is. You
Yeah.
bonk
Yes.
off the thing.
yeah.
It's like a
feel the
perfect level.
impact.
It's like not trying to be too cool either.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like a bonk.
It's we
bonk
know.
off
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It's
This
just
sport is super goofy and young,
Yeah.
and it's technically a unicycle sport, and we're just gonna live it to it.
hot
Well,
take.
hey,
Christian's hot
here's an
take.
idea, guys. Here's an idea. So there was a thread about this amongst many threads, right? But
Yeah.
somebody was like, you know what? Screw bonk, screw Bali. Let's call it a yonk. And then somebody was like, let's call it a boink. And then somebody was like, let's call it a boop. I was like, guys, let's stop arguing. Let's just put them all together. Let's call it a yonky boop.
All right, Yankee
And
boop.
everyone agreed to that. So that's like the
Yonky
other
boop.
slang term.
All right,
That
that's
is
now
de
canon.
facto. De
That's now
facto
canon.
word.
Yeah. Yankee boop.
Oh, Yonky Boop, dude.
It's
Just Yonky boop.
It's Yankee boop, but bonk for short. So like bonk is the short form of Yankee.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. I love it.
I feel like a boop would be like when you like boop touch your nose to something and
Yes,
like, don't get
that's
on
a
top
boop.
of it. Like that's
I
like
just-
a boop.
Me
I
with
think of,
every new
like-
trick I learn.
Somebody like touching a nose or something like that with my kids. I'm like, boop to my baby.
Yeah.
It's when you're
I don't know
learning
about
when
a
you're
boop.
learning the nudge.
A
And you kind of go.
Yankee.
And then
Yeah.
go
Yeah,
back.
there you
Right.
go. Right. That's a boop.
That's a boop.
Not a
yeah.
bonk, then a boop.
What is it? Yankee boop? What was it?
Yonky boop.
Yankee boop.
Right?
It's actually yoinky boop.
Yoink.
Oh,
boop.
yoinky boop.
Yoinky
boop.
Yoinky boop.
Yankee
Okay.
boop. All right.
That's like Shaggy saying it. Zoinks. Right? Yoinksy boop.
Yankee boop.
Almost sounds dirty.
All right, I want to watch this next clip.
Could be dirty.
Drift striking is what it's titled. Let's check this one out.
Those things look so fun. I have never been on one of those.
I never have either.
Are those sockasins?
Got real close to this car.
It
Dude,
was
that's
on its
fire.
last few threads there.
Are those sockasins on the wheels?
No, it looks like it. Looks like it.
Those-
Those are PVC pipe sleeves.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, so basically slippery plastic.
That's fire.
But drifting is therapeutic, man. It's just it feels so good.
I feel it.
Anytime you're feeling stressful, just start sliding.
Yeah,
and
if your
all your worries
Yoinky
go
boops
away.
got you down, go drifting.
We had this thing. It got ruined because my kids left it outside. It was called it's like a drift. I don't know, from Power Wheels or something. It was like 18 volts, and it had two caster wheels in the back and then two front wheels. And so the caster wheels would just spin, and you could just like take this thing and get up to 12, 13 miles an hour, and you whip it, and it just drifts like crazy. I've got
The crazy cart, right? It has
Yeah.
a handle.
Uh,
Yeah, those
yeah,
are amazing.
yeah.
too.
I think it's kind of like that. This one's a little different though because it doesn't have that. It's just got the caster wheels in the back and then two front rubber wheels.
Weird.
And so you get on it and it's like a go kart, but like the second you whip it, those caster wheels just start whipping you around. I've got footage going down like my parents like downhill in town, and you can do like 7-8 spins no problem. It's a
amazing.
fun time. But that's cool.
Yeah, those are crazy. Those are great for like more indoorsy environments.
Yeah.
Because the wheels can't take much impact.
Right.
But I'm like back in the day, 15 years ago, the OG downhill drifters, they weren't electric. They would just take a tricycle with the sleeves and they just bomb down crazy hills at like 40, sometimes 50 miles an hour. And I think I saw one of those clips during Black Friday a year ago, and I was like, I need to try that, and then found out they had electric ones, but then it went out of style. Like they're just clearing out inventory. Like nobody did it anymore.
Right.
And I picked one up super cheap online, and then just started doing it. So I'm trying to get the trend going again because it's nice drifting with other people.
So is the
So
front on the
actu-
front, or they're just pegs on the front wheel? Is that what it is since it's electric?
Yeah, pegs in the front, and then it's rear wheel drive.
Oh, that's
So
fire.
it's just pushing you. Yeah, it's one wheeling and drifting is the best combo.
That's so fire.
Love
It gives me back to like so when Onewheel did their Adventures Close to Home challenge to like give away an XR, they had that whole we had this idea to do a Jackass intro, like from Jackass 1 where like the smoke comes in, right? And like it's slow-mo footage and like the orchestra's playing and you come through. We were gonna come through like on a one wheel doing like a revert, and then having that drift car coming through, just like spinning around like through the smoke, real slow motion. It's just it's those feelings, man. Drifting and floating, they go hand in hand for sure.
Now, for those PVC pipe, is it like a regular wheel that they just kind of blow up inside of a PVC pipe, like that's kind of cut? Is that the basic idea?
Yeah, it's a standard go-kart tire. It's like
Okay.
a 10 by 5.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Now-
then you inflate it, just fits snugly over it. And then you inflate it to the right PSI and it'll just like expand and tighten into it.
Is there a PVC that's big enough for the Onewheel wheel? Has anyone ever done that? Has anyone ever done this? Just put a
So I actually did that.
Oh,
I
did you?
put a PVC pipe. It's on my Instagram, but I called it the drift wheel. So
and it
and
worked.
then one of my
worked?
homies, he drilled flint bits into
Oh,
PVC pipe.
okay.
So as you're sliding, drifting sideways on the one wheel, it's sparking too.
Oh
That's so
my.
fire. That's so
incredible.
fire. Speaking
Yeah,
of
it
dude,
was-
speaking of sparking too, you got the sparks from Fluid Theory, man. How have you liked those?
Dude, those things are that thing is scary. Holy
Yeah?
shit. Yeah, like I wasn't really prepared for that, but yes, it is very fun. It scares a lot of other poor innocent souls too.
What do you mean by scary? Like when you say that, like scary, holy shit, like is that just like the amount of sparks coming out of it, or what is scary about it?
The flint pipes are very thick.
Okay.
So it generates a lot of sparks with very little effort.
Woo.
So if you're just a nice little moderate tap, like you're just very surprised by how much comes out
Okay.
from the bag. And then when you really smash into it, it's just basically an explosion. That's how I'll put it.
That's fire.
Yeah, it's like a mini bomb going off. And then you see all sorts of colors. You see the blue, you see the orange, the yellow.
okay.
It's yeah, it's very fun.
That's awesome. I think they're going to be sending us some. Okay, we're going to do some filming and give them some social stuff. They're going to come on the podcast too. But
Yeah, dude, I'm pumped. That those things look awesome.
they look so much fun. I'm thinking like throw on TFK 1,000-foot crutches, let the sparks fly, and like do some like real slow mo footage, like and then hit it and then go back and forth with like just the sparks flying. It'd be cool.
Hell yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah.
If you do it with other people together, maybe like a flying V or something.
Oh,
Mighty
yeah.
Ducks.
All right, Fluid Theory, hit us up with at least 4 so we can like make the.
Yeah, I'm trying
That's
to come
cool.
up with tricks with it too, so stay tuned. I got some
Nice.
wacky
I'm down.
ideas.
Spicy.
That'll be real cool. All right, we got the next tip up here. MADD tips 360 no comply.
Dude,
What?
so good.
So crispy.
That's fire, dude. What now? What the hell? Like the surface. I got to start with the surface of this, right? Because we live in Ohio and there's potholes and shit all over the place. Like, what kind of surface you got to be on to make that happen?
Anything as long as you put like a layer of butter over it always helps.
Just keep the butter on hand. All right, got it.
Yeah, just a stick of butter and just start waxing it up. No, but anything like you need something smooth for sure.
Yeah.
Fresh pavement. We found, well, for me at least, parking garages work pretty well.
Yeah.
They're usually polished
The unsung
or
hero.
at least smoother.
the unsung hero.
So like any
Garages work
kind of
pretty well.
marble you could find somewhere, like go to the courthouse indoors.
Marble surfaces.
Yeah, that place. We're just so fortunate. Our campus, it's called San Jose State University. They just have like 2 areas where it's like just marble, and
Yeah.
they polish it, and we just always fuck it up with our tire marks. We just come back and then wax it
That'll
up
buff
again.
right out.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I feel
Yeah.
I feel so bad. There's like a church down here, and then like they got a little curb where I've been nose sliding, and I was doing it with the T2 tread, and it's just this straight black line across their curb. I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys.
There's always got to be one that fucks it up for the rest of it. Thanks, Caleb. But yeah, treaded does not work nearly as well. So for sure, slick, and then any sort of smooth surface you can find. It doesn't have to be marble, but just anything that's relatively
Smooth.
freshly paved works good. But if it's not that smooth, you just gotta whip your back foot more to do the scooping action.
Okay.
and kind of force this slide more.
I got you.
And you may not slide as much as you saw on some of those clips, but at least you're still doing the full 360 rotation.
Yeah.
You're just spinning more on the rotating on the tail instead of sliding with it.
How many tires you burning through? Like if you're trying these, like I haven't done too much with any of like the 360s or anything where the board's still going and like my tail or the nose is down and spinning around. What do you call that? The like they'll do it in the dirt where they'll pop off, they'll whip the board all the way around.
Hillbilly rodeo.
Yeah, hillbilly. Sure, hillbilly rodeo. Any of those things. Like, do you go through tire changes quite frequently, or are you, like, how does that go for you?
I'm actually surprised. I haven't worn through. I've only worn through one tire
Okay.
down to the treads.
Fire.
No other tire change aside from that, unless it's just changing the feeling of the tire, like a totally different compound or whatever.
What's your favorite tire?
But huh?
What's your favorite tire?
Sorry. Street Pro by Foot Life and Burris. Man, I am just in love with that tire. It's not the lightest, but it's just it's more durable, I feel like. Less prone to like puncturing. It's just a little bit thicker. So great for people who like to do like no slides or burnouts or tricks like that and don't want to worry too much about longevity. So yeah, I'd say Street Pro is overall for tricking.
Fire. Cool. I like it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm kind of like, I'm grabbing a treaded tire for this summer when we do like all the trail stuff. But man, I've had a blast in the shop this winter. I just have a Vega, so it's like I'm just sliding all over the place, man. It's awesome.
For a shop tire, Vega is hard to beat.
Dude,
All
I'm
these
loving
guys.
it.
So we go in Travis's shop and we set up some concrete curbs and shit. And I just put the T2 tread on before my board had pooped out and I had to send it off to get it fixed. And all these guys are just sliding back and forth. I got this sticky like T2
like
tire
glue,
all going across I'm getting 2 inches and then I'm back off. I can't do this. And you just hear with all the tread.
Like he's bouncing along like that thing.
So I finally I got another board and put a Vega on it and bed sliding. But I'm very curious now to try the Street Pro.
Me
that
too.
Sounds like a
You're
deep
speaking
tire.
my language right now. Yeah, that sounds like everything
Okay,
I
so
want.
it's a little bit of a tease because I don't think they're going to make that again. It's been out for quite some time.
All right.
Yeah. So I think they're coming out with other good options.
Cool. Well, as long as
right.
there's another good option, I'm cool. We'll be all right.
Yeah.
What are you looking to try, Caleb?
Well, so
What's
I've got
about
the
tricks or...
like basically trick wise in the shop at this point. Like I'm getting body varials down. I've got nose drags down. I've got nose slides, tail slides. Like it reminds me of being back skating again. So I've got a trick board set up. That was my anxiety purchase when I had to send off my controller to get fixed. So now I have a trail set up that has my JW battery in it, long range. It's got the T2 tread. T2 has been my favorite tire so far because it's squirrely, it moves, it reminds me of my pint. And
Trails, it's pretty fun.
it's so much fun outside anywhere.
It's a great tire, yeah.
I'm moving around and I've got I was supposed to get a Cush high. They accidentally gave me a Cush wide in there. I was like, yeah, whatever, we'll try it. And so I got a Cush wide pad on it. And for a while I had the flight deck on the front. So it was just a very cushy, like long range board. Put that tread tire on and I literally just feel like I'm snowboarding without ever catching an edge. Like I just ride everywhere. So now that I got a trick board set up, it's basically stock. It's just it's got a Vega on it, and I've left fins off, left everything else off. I'm just trying to I feel like I jumped steps getting into tricks. Like I wanted to mod the board, fanatical, get over it, do all the things to the board, and now I'm just like trying to learn what Onewheel made, like as an XR. So
right.
That's what I've been doing.
It's always nice to go back to that stock feeling.
Yeah.
Just for that different dynamic. It's a very the purest form, right, of
Right.
the Onewheel itself. And then you hop back on, it's like a new appreciation for all the crazy mods that the aftermarket has made. So it's like a renewed sense of appreciation. It's nice to jump back and forth sometimes.
I've had like the flight fins on for a long time, like the V2s or whatever. the big ones with the extension block or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't remember what you call it exactly, but like I love that feel. I love that ride. I love it on trails, like whatever.
Very snowboardy type.
Yeah,
feel.
exactly. And then our friend was at the shop and he didn't have any. He had a fully unmodded board, and I was like, well, he had like float plates on, right, and that's it. And so I was like, hey, can I nose slide your board a couple of times? And I was like, whoa, dude, this is so fun. Like, I love the fins, and I probably won't go back with, like, I prefer it with the fins, but I've never landed a body varial, and I got this. Maybe I'll try like mini fins or something just to see. But like, yeah, I've never done a body varial, and I have never tried because I don't want to like fuck up my fins or whatever. But doing like a nose slide on like just an OG board, I was like, wow, this feels a lot like skateboarding without all this stuff. Yeah,
it's a different feeling for sure. I love both feelings. Like, 'cause you can really get over it with fins, without little to no effort. But then like just trying to pop it in with.
Yeah, and I think if I had like in a sort of like in another universe where I have a shitload of money, I would buy like. I'd have maybe 2 to 7 different setups.
But like, be like tech rails, man.
Yeah.
He's got 5, 6, 7
dude.
boards,
and
man.
they're all like, yeah. I mean, I would love to do something like that, but it's cost prohibitive for me. Like, it's not my primary hobby. I mean, it is a primary hobby, but like
Not yet, it isn't.
my other hobbies take a shitload of money too. Yeah, so it's like I'm spreading myself pretty thin. But I think like just because I only have one board, I think I'll always stick with like the fins, and I love. I don't know why, but I fucking love the float plates. Like just like you can slide out of an accidental nosedive. You can do like nose slides without worrying you're gonna mess your shit up. And I don't know. I think I'll just kind of ride that for a while.
The OGs are great.
Yeah,
OGs are great.
The tires, I think. Excuse me. The tires, the thing I think that I'm gonna do a little bit of experimenting with first. But again, I only have one board, so I have to pick a tire. It's not like easy to switch a tire. Like, oh, hang on, guys, I'll be right there. Let me put my, like it's not like a thing that you can do.
How many XRs do you have, Max? You got 1, 2, 10?
He said 7, didn't he?
7.
Okay.
7 XRs, 1 pint. Yeah.
All right.
2 of them are growlers.
All right. So 2
They're actually
growlers.
Crowlers.
Crowler. Okay.
What does that mean?
Prowler is a growler, but with a pint hub or rim.
Oh.
Okay.
And the theory behind that is the pint rim is like a little bit slightly narrower, so it's less exposed to hitting the rim.
I gotcha.
When you're landing on the edge. And for some reason, I don't know, maybe Ori, you have some insight, but I think it's a universal consensus that a prowler has slightly more torque than a growler.
I've never. I may have tried a prowler once, but I can't speak much to that because I've barely been on them. It makes sense to me that it would have a little bit more torque just because physics, some science, something, I don't know.
There's an answer out there.
Yeah, the answers are out there, but yeah, as far I don't even remember if I was on a prowler, to be honest. I haven't seen many of them out in the wild.
I have to say the one I've ridden a pint like twice. Well, probably more than that, but I really thought about riding a pint one time. It was somebody's brand new pint, and she was kind enough to let me take it, just jam on it for a few minutes. And that thing's pretty snappy. Just an OG
Very snappy
pint. And then when I rode your when I
it's a
don't
friend.
smash it, you'll regret it.
Come here, little.
Good
I got
God.
him. I'll take him.
All right.
When you,
Love him.
I tried.
Another stink bug enters the building.
I tried Ori's Pint X, and it was so fun. Like I've never because I started on XR. I very recently got into one wheeling. Like June of last year, I got my XR, and so I then tried the pint. And it was fun or whatever, but I've never had the desire to go do anything on a pint really because I started on the XR until I rode the Pint X. And I think a Pint X is fucking fantastic. Like I think it's so cool. It has like so many things that I love about the feeling of a pint, but it doesn't feel like underwhelming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just love my pint.
I love the pint squad. Yeah,
honestly,
and it
just
just makes
the
you a
range.
better rider too. Like what I was saying, is
For
just
sure. And even,
smaller
like-
foot pad, wobbly.
Yeah, it's
When you
so
hop back on your
wobbly.
XR, you're just gonna be hitting it way
So
harder.
stable.
It taught
and-
well, and it taught me too, because like, so I had my XR, right, and so when my XR went down, I was back to my pint for a little bit, and it's got the range, and I was practicing slides at that time. I was practicing those slides, and when I started hitting it on my pint, I realized like how far off my front foot had to be to like really get it to the full block, and I was going like a full block, but I was struggling with the treaded tire and like the bigger board, because like my natural stance used to the pint was just to be back a little further. And then I got back on my pint, and I'm like, my foot's like half my toes are hanging off the toe side to get like a full block. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it just a wider stance, I guess.
Yeah, and your foot's just like hanging off more.
Yeah, right. Here we go. As opposed to like the XR, I feel like you don't have to be as far off as wide of a stance to like hit things on a pint versus an XR.
Yeah, and like you kind of have to as well, right, with the pint, because just everything's closer together.
Yeah.
But it's nice to test your range of balance, you know. So any sort of obstacle or board that you use, like you're pretty much prepared for. And that's why, like, if you really get into tricking and you really want to commit to it, like you do kind of need like eventually 5, 6, 7 boards. And just to break it down real quickly, it's like if you enjoy trails, so how it works is you need 2 trail boards, 1 trail board, 1 for a backup when you break it.
Yep.
You need two growlers, because if the growler's the primary board, 1 breaks, you need a backup. Then you need a full size trick board, with like the Street Pro, that's the full size one.
Yeah.
And then you need 1 for spare parts. just to snag it off in case you can't get some of the components. And then the 7th one was the drift wheel.
There you go.
There you go.
So there's a purpose for each one.
For
and
only
then the price.
$16,997, you can get yourself into the one-wheel sport as a pro.
The
Yeah,
low
entire life
cost.
savings
Yeah.
into one wheel. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Who needs
But,
university?
you know,
Yeah.
funny thing is, I've only bought one brand new one wheel, which was the pint, which I pre-ordered.
Yeah.
And everything else is used.
I've never bought anything from Future Motion. I've always bought them used. Like I've just been a Facebook
FFM,
Marketplace.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
And I promised them I'd
pop a
never give them
motion.
another dollar. Like everything's gonna be pre-owned,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna get anything directly from them. So, and if you're into like sending it, doing some tricks, trails, you're gonna scratch it up anyway. So there's really no point in buying.
Yeah,
it,
exactly.
In my opinion.
Yeah, I had no real frame of reference, I think, when I started last year. So I did order it straight from Future Motion. I didn't realize that they were sort of like becoming the villain. And I didn't understand that.
It took 6 episodes for that to come out. 6 episodes for that to come out. I just want to say.
I mean, dude, their marketing is really good, and it got me. And I didn't have any. I mean, I had the few friends that had convinced me to get one, but I had no foot in the door of the culture and
The community,
and all the things. And so, I mean, I don't regret giving them giving them money. Future Motion is kind of like the granddaddy of the joy of my life. So it's
Sure,
like,
yeah,
They built a phenomenal product. I think just again, like, and I'm sure you can speak into this too. It's just like when it comes back to that community support, it's there's something lacking.
Well, and I think, I think that that going forward, I would buy pre-owned just for the savings, and like you said, Max, like the day you ride it, you fuck it up. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, like
I've got 2 1K XRs. That's how much I paid for them. I was like, I'm not paying more. Yep.
Jesus, man.
So
yeah, that was
I'm
before
always-
everybody realized that the GT was not coming out.
I'm a hustler, man. But like, got down to it. I've always wanted them and stuff. But like, they're phenomenal boards. They hold up. One of my boards, 3,500 miles. That's when it had to get a repair. The other board, over 1,000 miles. That's when it had to get a repair. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure I'm gonna have future repairs because of,
mine had 60 miles on it and I needed a repair. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like I know they're built really well and stuff. Mine just had a problem from the get go, and I just like realized it after a week. Like, oh, this thing is it came to me fucked up, and they did their thing and they fixed it. We've talked about it before, but like, But now, like, I feel like I'm trying to walk that. Like, I have a JW battery on order right now. It's like on the way, and I'm really fucking excited about it. But I also am realizing that it's like going to avoid the warranty, which is
Aren't you already past it?
No, the warranty's up in June, so it's like I think it's a 1 year warranty. So, but that's not really
How many?
that big of a deal.
What's your repair ratio there? Like how many boards you get out of your 7? Right, you got your collector's editions now. How many boards you gotta? What's your repair schedule like? Like, do you go months without it? Like, is it sometimes a back to back? Like, what's been your experience so far with like having to repair it and being a full sender?
Yeah, it's a little unpredictable, but I would say on average, once a month a board is down, something like that. At one point, it all just came together, and at that time I had 5 XRs. 4 out of 5 were in the shop,
Woof.
and I was down to the last one. And I said to myself, "Dude, if I break this one, I can't ride unless I want to spend another $1,000."
I had that conversation with Floaty. Yeah, I mean, like again, boards are down. That's wild. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what was the main thing? Like controller, BMS, like what?
Yeah, it was definitely the electrical components. I think it was either oversurging, things burning out, shorting out, capacitors, right, that had to be sent out to some electrical gurus that we have out there. Other things is just like some things like cracked. Oh, the stator in the motor. If the inner hub bolts get loose over time, sometimes you don't feel it because it doesn't rattle, but because of the back and forth motion or just the vibrations, it actually wears out the metal inside the stator, and you never get a solid feeling. If you know what I mean, it always feels like it's sort of clanking.
Yeah.
That's not really repairable. You just need a brand new stator. Cracked rims. Like I have rims. I broke a Lifesaver, and then I should have just replaced it, but I just decided to keep riding without it, and then it cracked through the whole middle of the motor of the rim.
Wow.
Jeez.
Still held air, but actually none of the outer rim was there anymore. It was just like jagged, like a saw around.
It's kind of badass, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. But then I realized if I don't get this fixed and then I do some sort of drop, it's just gonna explode.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole motor could actually explode due to the crack going through the middle. Yeah, so it's just some maintenance stuff. It's really like a car, you know. You gotta bring it in and just get it checked.
That's what John.
The car that you're dropping off of.
Josh,
Yeah, it's your crash run, like dirty
like
car or whatever.
I guarantee you, anyone out there, like again, like for we'll say like the Ken Block, right? The guys who are drifting cars and all that stuff, like you're gonna have to repair it. Like you're taking this to the max.
Yeah.
No pun intended, right? Mad Max, right? You are at the max with this. Did this is a kind of a specific question, right? Like, so the SLS guys, like when he's repaired my board before, like he, assuring things are a little better. Like, do you notice less repairs after they go in and like try to give extra assurance to, let's say, like the controller, the BMS, like different parts that could have been failing from a stock board, versus like after you have an SLS shop or somebody who's really smart with these boards, put a little bit extra time into it to make sure that like, if I'm sliding the fuck out of this thing, it's gonna last for a little bit longer at least.
Yeah, definitely. There's a few hacks that they can do to help with the longevity and endurance of the boards. Like for example, well, first of all, it depends on what board you pick, right? Because like anything 4211 or older, I feel like it's just less durable, because 4212s and beyond, they actually Future Motion put like a layer of silicone or something over the electrical components.
Okay.
So it actually made an effort to improve the durability.
Okay.
So I stick with that 4212s or above for trick boards. But if you just happen to have anything older, which most people do, there's things you can do with like the headlight cables. It's just badly engineered. It's just this big, thick, heavy thing that wraps
Left to its own
right?
devices, just like have a good time in the controller box.
Basically, it's just like a Macarena that's just shaking around in your in your controller. So it's like they could have done so many things to avoid like these headaches and repairs. So like the shop guys will either glue it down or secure it. Another big thing is the BMS gets pushed against the back casing of the battery box. They have the slots.
Yeah.
And you take out the BMS, you literally see grooves in your BMS, and you're like, holy shit, it's halfway like drilled through. Like if this just snapped in half, your board's just gonna cut out, right? Like who thought of that? Like why didn't they put some sort of cushioning behind it?
Right.
So they'll put like Sean at Wheel Slip, he'll put a layer of some sort of tape, like a soft tape behind the BMS, so it provides a barrier against rubbing. Which,
Gotcha.
just a note to you guys should always check the back of your BMS, especially if you're sending it, because most, like if you've been riding for a while, you'll see slots being pushed into your BMS. It's a very scary thing to see.
So you could,
That's totally out of your
yeah,
control.
and I know what you're talking about too. It's almost like that. I mean, even on the batteries, they have that like foam layer. You could almost put that on the back of the BMS, right? Like,
Yeah, just
That's the
something.
thing,
So
literally
They do
anything.
the best they can.
yeah,
Yeah, they do the best they can, but there's just certain things that's how it's built that Future Motion chose to do it, that there's not much you can do.
right.
Well, I think it's
And hopefully
interesting
with
too
the
that
new model coming out.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see in the GT what I mean. They may have really
Who's
taken it
gonna
to
break
limit.
the first GT?
Exactly. Who's bricking that? I'm sure it'll be Dom, off of like a 15-foot drop or something. But no, it will be interesting to see what they've added to the GT as far as protection. Because yeah, the 2212s or the 4212s are beautiful. Like the controllers, it's like, oh, okay, this actually looks much more resilient. But before, you kind of have to think about what was going through their heads of, all right, what's our rider going to look like? Like, what are they going to put this board through? And they put quite a bit into it as far as like durability, but yeah, stuff like that. It's like, I don't think they ever thought that it was.
They
gonna
put it on themselves.
Go to this level of like, I don't think they ever thought that it would get.
They
this
put it on
big, per
themselves
se.
because when I look at my box and I look at the back of the marketing on that box, it says "built like a tank."
Exactly. Yeah.
You
so
put it
they-
on yourself. If you say "built like a tank," I'm like, all right, well,
I mean,
fuck. Can I?
Tanks still take maintenance though.
Yeah.
Tank maintenance, but tanks could take a beating.
Good point.
But for their ideal rider, right? Like to say "built like a tank," and then you
Yeah.
have some person who has heel flipped a 5-stair. You're like, oh, okay, well, if it's built like a tank, then I guess I could send it off a 5-stair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think both are true. Like I think that their actual target, if you look at their marketing, it's like lightweight shredders. You know what I mean? And then there's
Sure.
people like us that go fucking nuts with it.
Sure.
Who are like, this is the newest best sport or whatever.
Right.
Like I want to make sure that this means something to me. You know, or to the world or whatever. But I think literally most of my miles have come from just flat ground riding, just like cruising, listening to the wind,
Which is what
you know?
makes one wheel great, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like how much versus, and this is how much are you tricking versus just cruising? Like your one wheel board, like how much do you get out and just do group rides, just cruise versus like I'm out practicing tricks?
What's cruising? You mean on pavement? Dude, I really don't do much pavement group rides, really. It's majority is I'm working on something crazy or dumb, or I'm riding trails. That's
Yeah.
where I'm cruising, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't really do too much street group rides. Like probably I'll go up to San Francisco with the float pack. I love their vibes because they got a lot of music going on. Like they actually carry speakers. They got me into it. Like that's my speaker that I put a backpack strap on, and they'll carry these big ass JBL speakers, and then they'll link up like 10 speakers together and just start
that's fire.
blasting.
That's awesome.
And then we make pit stops to dance, and it's super scenic in
That's
San
cool.
Francisco too. So it's really nice.
That sounds awesome.
So I would say like probably 10% of riding is from just cruising, chilling, mellow rides.
Perfect. So for
The other 90% it's rolling down a hill or like
every new
in a
rider
skate park
out
or
there,
something.
like don't get afraid by our conversations. Like if you're listening to this, like these are the hardest senders in the industry, like
For sure.
trying this stuff. So like don't be like, oh, I shouldn't buy a one wheel because it's gonna break. Like
yeah, because Ori's gonna call me a pussy.
Nah, if you get one and you ride ride it like I ride my pint 90% of the time.
On hands and knees.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get a clip of that. You'll probably never break it, ever.
Yeah. I gotta say, credit to Onewheel though that yes, I don't think they intended to have it elevate so much where like people are sending it in skate parks, doing crazy ass drops. So I'm hopeful to see that with the 4212s they made it a step in the right direction instead of just doing nothing, which they normally do.
Yeah.
So hopefully it gets better. But yeah, sometimes I'm in a skate park and I'm just like popping off stuff or like it's you know just doing stuff that a skateboard should be doing, and it's just tumbling over and just like ka 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 ka. I'm like, ooh, I don't think it was meant.
That's
Does
not
it
a
still
nice
work?
sound, man.
Like, ooh,
Yeah.
I don't think that's covered under warranty. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt.
Please
for
stop
sure.
rolling. Please stop rolling. It's still going. Yeah.
A skateboard, 3 pound, right? I get my skateboards down like lightweight, 3 pounds maybe, right?
Yeah,
Whatever.
I don't
A one wheel, 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Like gravity. You smack that thing, it starts moving around like.
And it bounces on the wheel too, so it's like even more impact.
Keeps going.
Like, dude, I think to just to kind of I don't know, tie a bow on the future motion thing, but like I think that they probably thought like we need to make this durable because riding on trails is fun and whatever, and so they're like, okay, and some people are going to take this to the extreme, so let's make it like let's quote unquote build it like a tank, right? But I really don't think they probably could have foreseen like how much people were gonna quote unquote send it.
Concrete versus dirt, right? I mean, you tumble your board down a full trail, send down like dirt is more absorbent than a concrete surface.
Yeah.
And if your board is just smacking against concrete, it's just.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like with the BMS getting those grooves in it from vibration and stuff like that, like it probably under normal like vibration tolerance, they were probably like, oh, it's probably not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then when you're like, oh, I'm actually going 20 miles an hour and then jamming it into a fucking stair set, and sometimes sometimes like coming to a dead stop, and then they're like, well, that could take a little. You might need a little bit of like impact mitigation there. Yeah.
Cut the life off.
I
a
just
little
wish
bit.
they took our feedback and was
Yeah.
more proactive about it sooner. Like they've known about this, I feel like, for years.
Yeah.
And for them to delay so long, it just makes me not a fan of theirs. I
There's-
don't even follow them.
There's companies, man. There's companies that do that stuff where it. There's another company we work with in media production. We do a lot of installs and different stuff. And there's another company that just has made so many sales that they've fucked up on the back end as far as like keeping up with their product and problems and all this other stuff. And I'm like, I can't recommend you guys to install you in this building anymore. Like you're not keeping up with your product. You have a great product. You're making sales. People need it. People want it. But you have fucked up on the back end. Like, you need to pay attention to the people who are avidly in love with your product, and now you're breaking our heart. You're breaking our heart, people.
Yeah, and I feel like it's pretty obvious that for the last like year or two they've been like, okay, it'll go in the GT. Okay, it'll go in the GT.
Yeah.
Let's just keep going. People are still buying it. You know, and then we get to this awkward point here where they've decided to stop selling the XR.
Right.
And then everybody gave them a $2,500 loan.
And
to
they've
finish
marketed,
the production
it
yeah.
as if the product was ready.
Yeah.
And now you got a lot of new pissed off customers.
And
new
you
people
can't, and now you can't get the stuff that's fucking breaking on your old stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like there. I think it's like an awkward position, but I think it's funny because I wasn't in on the pint thing, and you said like the pre-orders went the same with the pint. They kept pushing it back or whatever, and you're like, these are the things we learned from, gang. You know, like like how are you not? Like it just feels weird that you wouldn't learn from that mistake. And that you still are, and so I'm kind of wondering if, like, okay, are you gonna get the GT and the BMS is still gonna be like naked against the bumper or whatever? And you're like,
Yeah, we'll see.
Well,
My
Coster's going to be pulling that board apart.
Yep, I will also be tearing it apart immediately.
yeah,
Seeing what's in there.
I will be watching you tear it apart and dreaming about a GT. But I'm gonna say it again. I feel like the XR is the Empire Strikes Back, and the GT is the prequel trilogy.
Yep.
And I'm just like,
It's pod racing. It's Anakin. It's Jar Jar Binks. It's all of that.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want to round home base here before I have one last clip from you, right? And this is called nose drag bail make. Is this your best bail story? Like I wanted to talk about this. Do you have your best bail story on a Onewheel on film? Is this just one, or what is this clip?
Okay, so that's just one that I have on hand. I do have a story, but it's on a YouTube compilation.
Okay.
I don't know if you're able to play that on the stream or.
We could probably
we
if
could
you
link
send
Taylor.
us. Yeah.
Come on.
We could clip it in. We're at an hour 59:15. So we
Okay.
could clip it in here if you send it back to us. We'll clip it in at this
Sure.
point. But let's go into the explanation of that.
Whoa, watch out! Watch out!
Spikes. Burning Man outfit. Look at this. Crazy.
Yeah, so I'd say worst overall was I was just trying to do this downhill shoot, and it was probably like maybe like 60 degrees or something like that, but it was just rutted out all the way down, and it was not soft. It was just like basically concrete dirt, and so I was like, "Fuck it, let's see what happens." So I go down, instantly wipe out, like not even halfway, just tail sliding, and I'm rolling down the hill. The board is behind me, rolling behind me. And then my friend on top who's filming goes, "Watch out! Watch out!" I'm like, "What?" And I turn and I hear this tumbling sound at the last second, and I jump and I crouch right at the last second, and it rolls by me. Oh. So that would have been very bad.
Wow.
Saved by
And
the
then
wheel.
what's even worse is I decide to go back and do it again. And so this time I wipe out again, tail drag, slide, but this time I slide, just barrel roll into some weeds, and it's the ones with the thistle thorns.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys know about thistle thorns.
Yeah, I know about thistles.
They're not like the foxtail thorns. These are like hard, plasticky thorns
Yup.
that are like hollow inside.
Yep.
So rolled straight into it, all my fingers, arms covered in it, and this was my intro to like real thorns, like why that saying.
This is when I
became,
understood
like,
thorns.
thorn in the ass, yeah. Thorn in your side, like literally I experienced it, because the worst is that it'll just drill into your fingers, and you can't push it out. It's so
just
thick and
in
hard
there.
that I actually had to take a needle and carve out like a little cave or a little trench in my hand, like basically do surgery, and then dig deep and like just like at one
Pop
point I
it
was
out.
so pissed because no matter how hard you squeeze, it won't come out. And so I was just yelling. My girlfriend's cooking dinner upstairs. She's like, "I got thorns again, babe." I'm like, ah! Ah! Like I'm just squeezing like every bit of juice I have in me. And dude, at the last second, you just see the thorn. It goes, and it just pops up. Oh, I can still feel it. But I had to do that probably 10 times on my
Wow.
fingers. And
God.
my
On that note,
and there was thorns. There's some I could not get out. It was so deep that it would stay in there for about 2 weeks. And anytime like you hit your finger on something hard, you just feel that sting.
Yep. Oh God.
no, dude.
So yeah,
that is
that
an
was the
unusual bail story. I did not expect for that to be the way it went.
And
but
it's like the bill was like kind of sucky, but it was like the 2 weeks afterwards that
Yeah.
we were pulling thorns out.
worst. Yeah,
Wow.
you just
Splinters,
kept
man.
reliving it every day. So that was the
God's
worst.
like,
So you'll see in the
if I
clip.
didn't teach you the lesson the first time, I mean, like,
Yeah.
you went down a second
Yeah.
time now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I
come
didn't
on.
get thorns. No thorns the first time. There's
Yeah.
the second
But
time
imagine
that I
what
really
the
learned.
third time would have been like if you failed to heed both warnings, like the third time. Yeah.
Come on, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be a problem.
we can see.
But the clip that I sent you of the nose drag, that was pretty decent too. The board actually disengaged right as I was doing a nose drag off a skinny like ledge.
Yeah.
And then so when I tried to brake by leaning back, there was no brake. So it was just all tail drag, and then instantly fell on both my knees, so the inside of my knees smacked the concrete at the same time.
Yikes. All right.
Y'all want to see it?
Let's roll this clip. I want to roll this clip. Let it roll again. Let's see it. Let it roll again. We'll let it load up and let it roll again here in a second. You land it, yeah.
All right, let's try one more time.
Near the knees.
His leg just hurt. You're like, oh, man.
Yum.
Yeah, knees and elbows, man. It's way too much bone just kind of
Yeah,
there for the crowd's taking.
No, like ass there. It's just bone and.
Yeah.
You ain't got no protection on either at that point, man. You're
Yeah.
fucking props to you, but damn. That
Yeah.
hurt.
No,
That
thank
was
you,
not, and
sir.
I felt a bit of karma because there was a nice old lady that was sitting there because she was doing like a walking exercise,
Okay.
and she was sitting there taking a breather from her power walk, and then I waited for like a good minute, and I was like, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you mind if you just move a little bit because I just want to do a trick right through here?" She goes, "You want to do a trick off this?" I'm like, "Yeah, just if you just move a little bit right there, it'll be fine." She's like, so she just stormed off. And then right after she stormed off, I ate complete shit.
Dude, she put a spell
She
on
was
that
probably
spot.
looking
She
back
was
at
like,
us, right,
yeah.
I don't know, dude. It sounds like you were pretty polite. So maybe the karma was her bad karma for not getting to witness it. She was mean, and she didn't get to see
No,
it.
it sounds like you actually encountered a real life witch who just put like a quick little hex on that ledge and was like, yeah, have fun.
Oh, you like your knees, do you? Yeah.
Man, so much power. Wow.
So much better.
People that
But
don't
yeah,
wear
I'm glad I got that
yeah.
after. But nose drags are unpredictable sometimes, you know? Sometimes
Dude.
it's just too much power, too much voltage. It just shuts off. You got to be ready for anything.
Dude, it blows my mind every time I see somebody like I've only seen maybe let's say 10 clips in my lifetime of the people who will do the nose drags and then like step both feet on
Yeah,
on the front pad.
This guy's got those.
Fucking like I don't understand that. I guess I haven't tried it, so I don't know. But like I don't know when you're going like 2 feet front pad, like there's no wheels. Like you're doing the still nose drag, right?
2 feet on the front, nose drag.
Yeah, haven't you done one of those where you put both feet on the front and then go back? I thought I saw you do one of those.
Like a hang 10 nose
Yeah,
drag.
yeah,
No, I haven't done that.
Okay.
Oh, did you just you did a 1 footer?
It was a 1 footer.
Okay, yeah,
nose
yeah,
drag.
yeah.
I could understand
Yeah,
a 1 footer. I don't understand a
I
like
don't
hang
understand either.
10. I don't understand that.
Neither of them.
Yeah, the hang 10. I don't think anyone's done a hang 10 nose drag yet, to my
Oh,
knowledge.
only on
Because
Because
it's just been fangs.
it's too much friction for a nose drag.
Okay.
It just stops.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I've done a hang 10 wheel drag.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And those are fun.
Got it.
But
must be
Oh, and it's so fucking hard to tell, like in the footage when you see it. Like you have
Yeah.
no idea if this is a nose or wheel drag or what. But even still, when you see it, so I'm assuming with the wheels, then it's probably a hell of a lot easier to get both feet on it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, because you can put as much weight as you want, and the motor will just keep pushing you forward. There's less friction.
That's fire.
But the moment you lean back on a wheel drag, it just will banana peel you right away. Oh, I forgot to send you that clip. Yeah, that was a really bad one. So I tried to do the Fang Tang, got a little lazy, leaned back just slightly, and instantly whipped me on my back. Oh. And my neck went, like, I didn't hit my head, but it was probably like that close. And my neck was just like shot for 3 days.
That's basically exactly what I did at Travis. Like when we were there and I saw that chop that just bananaed me out, and I'm like on my ass, hit my head. Like, how do you get out of a hang 10 successfully? Like, what's the key to that?
Yeah, so what you want to do is when you put your back foot on the front pad, you're kind of leaning slightly over your center of gravity, so it counteracts the motor pushing you forward. Because you'll feel it. The moment you lean back slightly, the motor just wants to kick you forward. So you have to quickly, while leaning forward, you kind of you put your back foot on the back pad again. And that's pretty much it. That's one way to do it. Now, the other way I found was while you're on the hang 10, you kick both feet forward, so you give it an extra nudge and then send it into a ghost ride, and then just chase it down like after 15 feet and then jump back on.
There you go.
That's awesome. Hell yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's
You got
another way to do it.
any dream tricks in the old brain that you're really chasing or you want to nail down? that either you've
Yes,
seen
this year.
or that you've cooked up within your brain that have not come into light yet?
Yeah, there's two I got on my mind. I've got the bonk late flip.
Ooh, boy.
I've wanted.
That's the one Andrew Williams, my boy.
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
landed a few months ago.
Dude,
you saw
yeah.
that, right?
Yep. Yeah, that is
Oh my
fucking
God.
killer. Andrew
just
Williams
knocked
blows
down-
my mind. Like he's such like an unassuming like. You wouldn't expect him to be that good at a lot of things, a lot of like one wheel related tricks, but he's really impressive, and he bounces like a teenager. He's pretty impressive. Dude is.
And I just love his personality.
Yeah.
He's so confident.
Yeah.
He can send it while wearing a tutu
Yeah.
and a fairy dress.
Yep.
What's his Insta?
So Andrew Williams, check
Andrew
him
Williams.
out. Love
What's
that guy.
What is his Instagram? Do you know?
It's Elite Onewheel.
Elite Onewheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I know exactly who you're talking about now.
I can
Yes,
find
check
it.
him out.
So good.
Yes. You will
Elite
thank
One
me
Wheel
later.
is man's a legend.
Yeah.
All right,
he's,
so
he's
this-
a great man.
So the bonk.
But
flip.
yeah, I saw him do that, so I want to do that now. So that's one on my list, and then from there, I want to try a bonk hard flip.
Ooh.
So it inverts up, so it's like a nollie hard flip.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
it rotates forward, and
yeah, and then
I
it,
gotcha.
then it does a half twist.
Ooh, that
and then
would
you
be
hop
cool.
Back on.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah, I
You
haven't
guys are
tried
just-
it yet, but I can't get that off my mind, so I want to
That's
try
cool.
try that this year.
The idea of doing that, I just can't wrap my head around that at all. I don't
I'm
have a
ready.
skating background at all. So you guys are like, yeah, we're gonna like pop it over, and then it's gonna do a hard flip. I'm like, what is a hard flip? Oh yeah, it's when it does this and turns. I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna do that?
Well, you know,
It's probably not going to work at all in theory. So
well,
I bet-
you'll probably
honestly,
hit
though,
it on accident.
Honestly, I bet if you did it like off a graw, you know, like if you get a graw set up, similar to how like Chris Richardson just landed the rich flip, right? Like I bet if you really nudge that nose down right at the right time off a graw, you could get what you're trying to go for.
yeah, I could see where you're going with that.
You definitely need something like a grawl or something with that, just where you get up and right at that point you could just whip it down real quick. Probably have to
Yeah.
be looser, probably in something like Mission or something, but like whip it down and then just that back leg comes up and all of a sudden you're just
I see so many broken lights in your future. Just like slamming the front end down and just cracking lights.
Oh, you got famous last words, right? So, then the last one is a finless bonk 360.
all right.
Yeah, certainly never seen that one. Would
I
you?
was-
would
yeah, I
would
was
you?
trying
Would you
that
do
the
it?
other day.
Would you do it backside or would you do it front side?
I think I would do it backside just because I'm already really comfortable with the back 180.
Yeah,
But
that
there's
one
just
feels-
something about the physics of it. Like 180 is like I can bust that out on flat ground, and
Yep.
I figured you do that off a little drop just with that extra 180, but it just doesn't work. Like gravity starts to take over, and the board starts falling and tipping over on its side. So it's something I got to figure out.
dude,
I tried it a few
even
times.
with the fins. I mean, trying to do it, even fin 360s are incredibly difficult. It's just a lot of weight
Yes,
to get around that much. And also the board starts to react differently when it starts doing this rotation faster. It like because it wants to. Whenever I would land those 360s, immediately the tail drops, but you start accelerating because the board
Yeah.
has all that momentum, basically pushing the
The gyrometer.
gyrometer, yeah, pushing the gyrometer to the front, and then it thinks it's accelerating while you're still back, and so you pretty much always land it in a tail scrape, and then you just floor it out into the world. But so yeah, doing
I
from a
noticed that.
bonk like that's. It's gonna be some mechanics for sure, but I wanna see you do it so bad. I
Speed
will,
mechanics. We've got it on you. Even if you got the weight loss plan in there, right, to get a little lighter and get a little higher, right? Get down to 170, 160, and all of a sudden, send it.
Dang, I got to do a whole lifestyle change for this year.
The trick's worth
Like a
it.
movie part.
Yeah.
But
Christian
yeah,
Bale.
so those are on the horizon, hopefully.
awesome.
Hell yeah.
I'm looking
And then,
forward to it.
Ori, I'm gonna be posting a post with the flight fin soon.
Sweet.
Putting a few of the compilation together.
Yeah, you need an 8th flight fin board.
That's gonna be my pint
That's
for
gonna
now.
be fine.
Yeah.
Nice, very nice, awesome. Yeah, looking forward to that too. Because already that nollie 180 was like, woo, that's fresh.
Well, hell yeah.
I'm excited to see what you do.
Did a nollie off a 2-stair too. Got some air.
Ooh.
Okay.
And then I was seeing that what you're talking about, just landing on the tail.
Yeah.
If you land on, and then it just keeps pushing you forward.
Yeah.
It was because when you pull up with the flight fins, I think it starts spinning backwards, right?
It all depends on, because you can do a very, like, if even with the flight fins, if you bonk like normal, kind of pushing the nose down, it's very much the same feeling when you land. Like, it'll kind of like chirp the wheel back a little bit, but as long as you're ready for it, it'll do that. But if you kind of jump and you're leaning back, it'll kind of chirp the wheel forward when you land. So it's kind of, it's whatever the trick calls for as long as you're ready for it. But
Gotcha.
yeah, it is very different though. The board is like, what's happening? What's going on? It's just very. I mean, that was the whole thing. We were like, well, we don't know what's going to happen when the board is in the air. It might not like it at all. When we were first trying to figure out what the flight fins would do, but a lot of weird mechanics there.
Yeah, it's a new thing I'm picking up, so
Sweet.
dial it in soon.
Cool.
Heck yeah.
Well, dude, if you haven't checked them out, man, Mexicino guy on Instagram. Where else can we find you, man? Is that the place, or you got obviously the Float Life series that you got on YouTube? Do you have your own YouTube channel that you're starting, or?
Yeah, I do have a YouTube channel.
All right.
I haven't really focused on it for the last few years. I used to do like some challenges and fun stuff on there. But yeah, definitely want to start that back up. So if you guys ever want to kind of see a day in the life of tricking trails and eating vlog with my girlfriend, that sort of thing, I'm going to start that up. We'll do some fun challenges, maybe some prank wars, stuff like that.
Super cool. Yeah.
I got her on a $50,000 fake lotto ticket prank that I think she's still working to plan something on. So, terrified. But yeah, it's just I'll probably put a link on the my Instagram page one of these days. It goes by Mad Max as well, but it's not like, it's only got like 300 subscribers, so it's not
That's cool,
it's not
man.
popping up if you type in Mad Max.
We'll come out. We'll get some
So I'll
people to
just announce it.
subscribe. We'll get some people to subscribe to you. We're going to be doing with our hoodie rollouts and different clothing. We're going to be rolling out patches with it. And with those physical patches that come out, we're actually going to release challenge patches, where the only way to obtain the physical patch, whether it's a PVC or embroidered patch, we're going to make a custom design, is to complete that challenge. So maybe we'll do a Mad Max / Pushback collaboration challenge to be like, you want the Mad Max patch, like you got to complete XYZ challenge, submit the video on Instagram, and get a patch.
Ooh, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so be thinking of your
I'd love to do
challenge.
that.
Thinking of your.
Think of the challenge, man. It'll be a good time.
I'm down for that.
Heck
Sick.
yeah.
That's
Mexicino guy on Instagram, dude, it's been a blast having you hang out on the Pushback. We've killed it, man. It's been 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Yeah.
Episode
Trooper.
6. Mad Max in the building. We got a lot of really good conversation, dude, and I look forward to having you back on again at some point to see where your progression's at, dude.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for coming, man.
Thank you, fellas. I look forward to seeing how you guys grow too. Like, we need this. We need this, in-depth community conversations going. We need more of the people coming in. So I'll be supporting you guys and tuning in. So thank you again.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
See you guys.